coming up next at 1. We'll see you then.
Good afternoon. Here we go at 1 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News Live. I'm Tyler Fingert. We have made it to Friday. We're about to shimmy into the weekend. Looking forward to that. We are live streaming on all of our social media channels, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. If you have a question, you want to comment on the news, if you want something answered, just join us in the comments. We'll try to get it answered for you right here during this show. And remember, we are live streaming also on Fox Local. We are glad you're here. Let's get straight to the headlines we're following right now. And this one is certainly one that seems to be resonating with a lot of folks, and that is the Lawrenceville mother who has been charged with murder after leaving her 1-year-old son in a hot car, according to investigators. Well, she appeared in court today. 29-year-old Deja Coleman made her first court appearance this morning. Of course, this is all in relation to the tragic death of her son on Wednesday. Lawrenceville police say Coleman dropped off her other 2 children at daycare, but forgot her 3rd child was left in the back seat of her car. Officers responded quickly and knocked out a window once they found the baby, but by then it was already too late. Let's talk about another story that is also making some headlines and has to do with a person accused of stealing a car with a 2-year-old child inside. Well, he was supposed to appear in court this morning, but he decided to waive his first court appearance. He's identified as 21-year-old Salem Martin. Atlanta police responded to a report of a stolen vehicle with a toddler inside in the 900 block of Spring Street. This happened just after 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Preliminary investigation showed the vehicle was left running with the 2-year-old strapped into the car seat in the back when that theft occurred. Officers assigned to the Auto Crimes Enforcement Unit quickly tracked that vehicle down, and the suspect about 3 miles away to a strip mall in the Howe Mill area. Police took Martin into custody. The child was not harmed and was reunited with his parents. And according to his arrest warrant that I obtained this morning, Martin was trying to get back to New Jersey when he allegedly stole that vehicle. Let's talk about this one. Another I-285 shutdown that was supposed to happen this weekend has been postponed, so it's not happening. So if you're on the west side, good news for you, but it's going to have to happen another weekend, according to officials. So originally, GDOT said the interstate was going to be closed between Cascade Road and MLK Jr. Drive starting tonight, but that closure has been pushed back due to the possibility of inclement weather. Our Fox 5 Storm team has been talking about that for the last several days. We're going to check the forecast in a little bit, but GDOT says there will be another 285 shutdown in Fulton and Cobb counties starting on August 7th. So we'll keep you up to date. We know this is going to happen a number of times over the course of the coming months and into the years as they work to basically rebuild that west side of the interstate on 285. As we come back into the newsroom, let's talk about some of the stories we're working on. We have a team of reporters scattered throughout the metro Atlanta area today. Let's check in with our assignment manager, Tanya Mendoza, for a look at the stories that our reporters are working on. Tanya, good afternoon to you and happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Tyler. I'm ready to shimmy into the weekend, quoting you there. But okay, let's move on. We have some serious news to talk about right now. Over in the LJ area, Gilmer County Sheriff's Office has put out a missing persons alert search for a man by the name of Sean Michael Cunningham. He is 37 years old. I believe they say he's from Florida. Search teams are using drones and kayaks near Carter's Lake in LJ to try to find him. He vanished during the recent storm on Tuesday night. That major weather that moved through that area, that's when they said someone last talked to him. He is said to have taken shelter under a dock on Carter's Lake near the Woodring campground. So we have Ray Yedina out there. He is scheduled to interview DNR and others about this case, and he'll update us on that search throughout the day. Tyler?
Yeah, hopefully someone knows something can help bring him home. No one likes to hear about a missing persons case, so hopefully someone watching watching right now or one of our Fox 5 Atlanta viewers can help out and help that family to make sure he can return home. We'll get that update from Ray later on. Let's talk about another story we're working on, and this one has to do with, I guess, some smoke shops that have keep getting broken into by thieves.
Yeah, so this is what Eric Perry's working on. He says that a Southeast Atlanta smoke shop keeps getting hit up by thieves breaking into the business, and so far crimes have cost him $30,000. So he's going to share that surveillance video of the break-ins with Eric Perry. We'll have more on that story later. You know, this is an ongoing problem in Metro Atlanta. We've covered break-ins like this at different smoke shops, including in DeKalb as well. Tyler?
Fortunately, it seems like easy targets sometimes. These different types of businesses will get hit by thieves. So hopefully that surveillance video helps solve this case. But we know that I'm sure there will be a lot more coming up related to these types of thefts. But let's talk about something that is also affecting some people in the Atlanta area. And I didn't know this. The fact that there are a number of these roads that still exist. Some roads here in our area have are still dirt paths in the city of Atlanta.
That's right. That's what Angelique Proctor's working on. She says that in Southwest Atlanta in particular, there's a problem with dirt roads, and the city council doesn't want to have it anymore. They're taking initiative to try to pave over these roads. They're going to pass a resolution on Monday to pave the roads, and she's talking to Councilman Antonio Lewis about this. The resolution would require the Transportation Department to locate all of the roads and fund the paving. Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that the people in that community would want it, so we'll check in with Angelique a little bit later on during Fox 5 News Live at 2 and 3 o'clock. Let's talk about this in Athens, a big drug bust, and I guess a lot of cash, too.
That's right. Athens Clark Police Department sent over this picture and a press release this morning. Look at all that cash, Tyler. Isn't that crazy?
Let it
Okay,
rain.
so you may want to know what happened. So it was a multi-agency drug investigation that led to a major fentanyl distribution takedown in Athens, Georgia. What we know is that the seizures that the police got, and this is what's in the picture, most of it, trafficking fentanyl, but it was $74,000 in cash, 4 firearms, 4 vehicles used in the operation. The suspect in this case is Darren Turner, 56 years old. He was arrested and charged with fentanyl trafficking, intent to distribute, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. That's what we know on that story. We'll try to update that throughout the day. Tyler?
Certainly a lot of cash there. Tanya, thanks so much for an update on the stories that we are working on today. Appreciate it. Hope you have a good weekend. As we take a live look now outside, you're looking at Lake Lanier. You see a boater out there. Looks like probably getting into the marina in a moment, at least whatever they're doing. But you can see, it looks like a beautiful day out there. Someone on a wave runner right now going through the lake, looking like a great place to be.
Wish that was us.
Oh, yeah. You know, we should take it on the road.
I've been saying.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Pelican Pete's, here we come. That's where it is. The camera's at Pelican Pete's.
I mean, we do a lot of this off the cuff anyway. We could do it.
We could do it. That would be a sight, though. Yeah, like we could be on a boat and we could have the padcaster and we could do the weather.
I would just sit. You know what? I would just like hold the mic above water. I'll just be in the water the entire time and like hold it the Fox 5 mic with the flag and all that.
You could do that on the lake, or maybe go up to Helen. You go get in a tube. You could do a whole hour of news going down Chattahoochee.
We should check.
We're just coming up with stuff now.
See if our managers will make that happen.
I have a funny feeling that answer would be no. All right. So I tell you what, if we were going to do
weather to talk about,
Yes. Well, not so much today. Like if we were going to do it, today would be the day to do it. Tomorrow would not be the day to do it because we do have showers and storms on the way. 84, that's it right now in Atlanta. You might remember here in the 1 o'clock hour, we are usually in the 90s, but today not so much. That's thanks to the cold front that slid through earlier this week. 83 in Dalton, 80 over in Blairsville, 82 in Gainesville, 85 in Athens, and 91 in Eatonton at this hour. So there's the front down to the south. That's what slid through Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Had the tornado in Pickens County, flooding in LJ. Well, what's next on the horizon is what you see up in the St. Louis area. That's a cold front, obviously, back near Kansas City, but the rain and storms running out ahead of it. And it's that energy tomorrow. It's going to fire up some storms for us, potentially, earlier in the day. But before we get there, we've got still some hazy skies across metro Atlanta. The flow of smoke from Canada is currently cut off. However, there's already smoke in our air that needs to mix its way out. So that's what's happening. You're going to notice the haziness decreasing and then decreasing some more. Nonetheless, when the moon comes up a little later on this evening, probably still going to notice a little bit of an orange tint there, as some of the scattering of the light happens as you look through the smoke. But for the remainder of the day today, 90, 91, somewhere in there for high temperature. Should be nice this evening for the Nationals and Braves. First pitch at 7:15. Bring the sunglasses, particularly if you're sitting down the third base line or in the outfield there. Excuse me, with just outside of third base, first base line and behind home plate, going to be in the shade. Then we get to the weekend, all right? So a 70% chance of rain on Saturday, 50% on Sunday, and then a 30 and 40% chance of rain there on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Here's the Barron 3K model. Notice by 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, you are already looking at storms across portions of Middle Tennessee into central Alabama. This particular model is trying to bring a decent amount of energy. There you go at noon across Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. And this particular scenario, I don't expect those to be, just weak storms across the metro. All right. I would expect, with the heating of the day, that we're looking at some stronger stuff, and not only stronger, but wetter, if that makes sense. These storms will be able to drop a lot of water relatively quickly, and then into the evening hours, potentially another round of storms. And that's going to be the general trend through the weekend, is looking at waves of storms, maybe 3 or 4 of them. So just because it storms at your house once on Saturday does not mean you are done. You could be looking at another round potentially Saturday night into Sunday. And bringing it back here into the set, Tyler, I think the thing that's important to note is that everybody across North Georgia is likely going to experience something different, right? Like we would be looking at, the likelihood of it raining in Fayette County at noon and not in Gwinnett County. But then you get into, the 4 p.m. hour and it's raining in Pickens County, but not in Eatonton, right? It's things like that make this forecast difficult to convey, right? It's, I would say, for everybody, various storms through the weekend, and that'll take us into next week.
Are we expecting these to be severe, or just more of just widespread rain and things like that?
So we do have a bit of a severe threat. And in fact, I'm going to show you this, because when I show you this in the next hour, it's probably going to change. This is our, I don't know where the banner went. There we go. Our severe weather outlook. Notice right now it is a level 1 in Northwest Georgia and a level 2 at just like Dade County. I would expect some changes to this before the day is over. So
coming towards our area more?
Most likely, yeah.
So like further down to the Atlanta area? Do you think it'll get to where it says Atlanta, or do you think it will more stay still out towards Cobb?
The Storm Prediction Center really likes using I-85 as kind of a dividing line.
Okay.
So it's possible that it comes further south here over the next little while. Or I'd say it's likely that it comes further south. It's a question of, does it come to Atlanta? Does it come down here? I think this line I'm drawing right now is relatively unlikely. The most likely one is that first line, if I had to. And as a result, the level 2 would likely shift.
And so we're obviously, when they do these different outlooks, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels, what is the biggest risk we're going to expect to see tomorrow? Is it wind and
definitely
hail?
Damaging? Well, so here let's do wind. That's tonight. Let's do day 2.
I'm throwing you on the spot.
Yeah, well, so and notice it matches up, right? So there's your wind, and there's your legend up there at the top of your screen. So it's a low wind threat.
So the wind's the biggest threat.
Wind's the biggest threat, and the tornado threat stays to our north, it looks like. But let me see if I can quickly pull up the flash flooding threat. Let's see if we can get to the excessive rainfall outlook.
Yeah, we recently had that.
There you go, right?
So lots of rain.
Lots of rain. And again, it's not for everybody. There are going to be people in this yellow shaded area that see like a 1/4 inch of rain. And then there are going to be other people who see potentially several inches of rain.
I feel like your favorite phrase, the haves and have-nots.
Haves and have-nots. We'll be having and having not this weekend.
Alex, thanks so much for an update. We'll both be here tomorrow morning, joining everyone here on Fox Local from 9 to 12:30, and we'll keep people up to date throughout the afternoon as well. Alex, thanks so much. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break. We're back after this. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live on this Friday afternoon. I'm Tyler Fingert. We're so glad you're here. We want to talk about school, and it's a lot of students are heading back to school. Some of them have already head back to school. We know a couple of school districts today, students went back for the first time on a Friday. But let's talk about something that pretty much every student is going to have, and that's a backpack, because lots of families are going to be having to stuff that with all the supplies kids are going to need, depending what grade they're in. And they want to make sure they're getting ready for the school year. So here's the problem. Overly loaded or poorly fitting backpacks can lead to aches, pains, and even injuries. And so joining us live is Dr. Saji Zerf with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta to share some simple ways parents can help keep their kids comfortable, and also just what you should know about not wanting to overload your backpack. Dr. Zerf, thanks so much for being here this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Well, so let's start there. I see a backpack that you have next to you. Why is it so important not to overload it and stuff it? Because, I mean, it definitely can cause harm to kids, especially as they continue to grow.
Yeah, exactly. So backpacks can, if they're too heavy, they can obviously cause back pain to kids. So it's very important that we try and keep backpacks only 10 to 15% of their body weight. So if you're a 100-pound child, your backpack shouldn't weigh 10 to 15 pounds. That can be pretty hard, but we'll give you some tips of what to look for in a good backpack and how it fits properly.
And so what are some of those tips? Because obviously, sometimes people we'll start here. Obviously, people aren't weighing their backpacks. I know you just start stuffing things in. Like I have a work backpack. I bring my work laptop, actually 2 work laptops home every night. And I also have all the other stuff I carry with me. So I'm not measuring that. But as a kid, I'm sure you're definitely not throwing that onto a scale. I mean, how much is too much?
Sure. So the biggest thing for backpacks is that you want to make sure it's the correct size. So you don't want to just get the biggest backpack possible so you can fit the most you can. Usually what you're trying to do is you want to make sure that the back of the backpack is like 1 inch above your the lower part of your back or your belly button. And you want to make sure that you have like 2 padded straps in the front. And if you can have a padded back on your backpack, that's very helpful. Backpacks with a bunch of compartments can help too, help distribute the weight of all those, homework and binders and your Chromebook.
I mean, and obviously, even if people do everything right, if kids don't overload it and things like that, they can still wear the backpack wrong. I assume putting it on both shoulders is the best bet, but if you're doing it, and you see a lot of kids doing it, I'm only going to have it over one shoulder.
Yep, exactly. So having it on one shoulder, puts more stress on that side. So that can create the muscles on that side to work harder, and, that can cause back pain. Also, things that can help is having a chest strap or a waist strap on your backpack, and that can, help distribute that weight much better too.
So obviously, we're talking about this, but in practicality, do you, as a doctor, do you actually see how, the effects on kids? Have you seen it?
So good news is that a backpack is not going to cause scoliosis or, anything like that. I have seen kids with shoulder pains and back pain before, but, luckily a lot of that can be fixed by, distributing your heavier things in closer to your back and putting the lighter things in near the front of your backpack. Sometimes even splitting your backpack by putting some stuff like your Stanley Cup or your lunchbox like in like a shopping bag and can help too.
So, I mean, is it safe to say the aches and pains sometimes you see where when a parent makes an appointment, brings their child into you, that a lot of those aches and pains or some of those aches and pains can be pointed to, hey, the backpack is overloaded or just not being worn correctly or just a poorly fitting backpack for the child?
Agreed. Yeah. And then a lot of times some kids don't like using their lockers or they can't use their lockers. So that's where we at Children's can help try to figure out a plan for your child at their school.
Well, and so before we let you go, because we're obviously running out of time, people may be, especially if they're in the Atlanta area and they haven't gone back to school yet, or some of our other areas, Gwinnett County as well, if they're going to go buy a new backpack before next week, what are some tips that you want to be able to tell parents about just they should keep in mind when they're at the store?
Yep. So the biggest one is make sure that you're choosing the correct size of the backpack. So you don't want a backpack that's too big or small for your child. And then, like you said, finding one that has 2 straps can be helpful too. If you do want more information, of course, there is a backpack safety article on our children's website that explains everything that we talked about too.
And just for folks listening, the website they can find that is?
It's on showa.org, and if you type in backpack safety in our search, that should pop right up.
Okay. Good to know. Dr. Saji Azurf, thanks so much for joining us and telling us about this and what people should know. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Tyler.
Appreciate it. And as we continue on, we're going to stay on, I guess, kind of a topic of school. So obviously, as kids are getting ready to head back to class, some parents might be trying to figure out a way to, like extend the summer vacation a little bit or do one more last minute trip. The experts at Slick Trip say it's possible to do it on a budget. And as long as you're aware of the myths, that's where John Muller comes in. He spoke to our Good Days Paul Milliken. Take a look.
Have advice or tips on what we can do to travel on a budget?
So again, the general myth is that airlines charge less on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And again, the data doesn't prove that anymore. What we would say is use a third-party platform so that your computer is not cookied. That the airlines know that you're really looking to travel at a specific date. So it is really it is a thing to be able to either clear your history, go incognito, or use a third-party platform to search travel, because the airlines do know when you're looking to travel, and they tend to raise the prices on you almost by the minute when they know that you're a little desperate. But at the end of the day, the biggest myth again is that you can't save on travel last minute, and you really can. It's an amazing thing. We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen constantly every single day, where people are saving 20, 30, 40% sometimes on airfares at the last minute within, let's say, within a week of their own travel.
Well, and just last question. I mean, and I'm going to go home and clear all my cookies and cash immediately. I'm so love to hear you say that. But, it does feel like prices are just really high across the board right now. Why is that? Is there a specific reason?
Oil, and more oil.
Yeah.
Prices.
Yeah.
So it's a very, as far as the prices right now, this summer we're seeing a significant increase in flight prices. And the primary reason, unfortunately, is the price of oil. The fluctuations, the airlines really cannot handle the fluctuations in the oil pricing. So unfortunately, it gets pushed off to the customer, which is why platforms like ours at Slick Trip are so important, because you really need to be able to do all you can right now to squeeze out those savings at the, for either last minute travel or for travel for the holidays. I mean, we definitely recommend set alerts early, so you know exactly what you're getting in for, and especially now we're recommending that you set alerts for November and December for the holiday season.
Wow. All right, will do. I appreciate the advice. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week in the Mediterranean. Sound good?
Yeah, we're going to Saint-Tropez. Let's set it up.
All right. See you soon, John. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
And that was a segment that aired this morning on Good Day Atlanta. For more segments from GDA and Good Day Atlanta, you can head to our website, fox5atlanta.com. And, of course, you can go to our Fox Local app. We have a lot of video on demand for that as well. We still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock on this fabulous Friday afternoon. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break. We're back shortly. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock on this Friday afternoon. I'm Tyler Fingert. We're so glad you're here. Remember, this is an interactive news conversation. We are live streaming on all of our social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and of course our free Fox Local app. Let me get you caught up on some of the headlines we're following right now. An investigation is underway in Douglasville, where a woman was found dead. It happened in an apartment complex on Brown Street earlier today. You're looking at video from the scene. Our photographer able to capture all of this as now they're trying to piece together exactly what happened. We're working to gather more details. So far, officials have not yet confirmed the identity of the woman, what caused her death, or who may have been involved. Another story we're tracking right now has to do with a robbery in northwest Atlanta, and police need your help identifying a suspect who you see on your screen right now. They released this surveillance video showing the suspect walking into a food mart on Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway on Wednesday. They say he went inside and then, get this, pretended to fall asleep. And after being confronted by the clerk, the suspect pepper sprayed the worker and then allegedly stole an undisclosed amount of cash. You can see it looks like going through some sort of cash drawer right there, pulling out all those bills. Oh, and he drops some, it looks like. Atlanta police are asking anyone who may recognize the man to call them. As you might imagine, they would love to talk to that individual. Let's continue on and take you to Henry County now, where they have made history with the appointment of its first African-American female police chief. Chief Bess Baugh has broken barriers in Henry County as the first black woman to serve as captain, major, and now chief. Congrats to her. Most recently, as Major, Baugh oversaw the police department's training division. The chief has 30 years of experience in law enforcement, with the past 20 years in Henry County, so incredibly familiar with that area. Congrats to her as she continues on in her career as chief now of the Henry County Police Department. So let's talk about it. So we know that schools are getting ready to head back to class. Well, there's a local university and college that is launching a new program, all to basically help as the demand for pilots and other aviation professionals grow, and they want to help students take off in the industry. So our Maria Guzman is live with all the details. Maria, I talked with you at 11 o'clock. I told you anything aviation has my attention, and I'm certainly interested to hear that how a lot of local schools are trying to get in on the action to be able to help out and create more pilots, because we know it's an in-demand industry.
Yes, Tyler, and this is all between Beulah Heights University and Lookup Flight Academy. They're located here in Lawrenceville and have made it to the ramp. I know I showed you some cool planes. Well, I got more cool planes for you. I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera to show you here a team that is currently working on this plane. But also I want to introduce you guys to Michael. He is the founder of Lookup Flight Academy, which is such a cool job, by the way. Michael, if I was a student here, just going through the program, just walk me through the steps of becoming a pilot.
Yes, so as a student, you come in. The first step generally is we take you through the ground course, so you get the knowledge portion of flying. That way, when you get in the airplane, everything makes sense. So from ground, you get transitioned into the flight simulator. That's to help you build some solid muscle memory. And then from there, you get to fly one of these puppies, and you're pretty much flying from there on. You're flying every day. We can get you to fly every day, and weather permitting. And then you take your check ride. So every rating you get through your training, you have to take the big exam, which is the check ride. And now once you're done with all of your certificate, then it's time to build hours. And once you build hours, then we build the bridge to transition into a paying job. And that's where your career starts.
Just walk me through the shortage that you are seeing, not only in the pilot, but also the mechanics, the people who maintain the planes.
Yeah, man, where do I start? This industry, it's a bit unheard of, and that's part of what we've been doing, is just to educate people about the existence of the aviation industry. We have such a big shortage. The pilot is the sexy thing. Everybody wants to learn how to fly, but when you go deeper, you see that even the mechanics that work on the airplane, there's a big need for that. So we have shortage with mechanics, we have shortage with dispatchers, we have shortage with the people who keep us safe in the air, which are the air traffic controllers. There's just too many opportunities that we want, folks to take advantage of if they've ever thought about a career in the aviation space. So, and all of that will get you close to the airplanes, because like I said, I think that's the sexy thing that people want, but there's opportunities in different baskets with this.
Cool. And then you guys are making it very accessible that anyone can become a pilot or go into the field of aviation. Talk to me how you are making it much more accessible.
Absolutely. You spoke to Beulah Heights earlier. That's where our partner, because we understand that one of the biggest wall for this is the way to pay for it. So what we've done is we've built a real curriculum and partner with an actual university where our students can go through the university, and now you have access to financial aid, grants, and or student loans should you go that way. But more so, that makes it easier for anyone who's interested. And then when you get here as well, we do have some scholarships that our students can take advantage of.
Awesome. Now, I don't want to put you in the spot, but that plane is special because you built it.
Yes. Yeah, this is one of my Golf, my baby. I built this plane 6 years ago. One of the most incredible projects of my life. But what's beautiful about it is I brought it back so the students now can fly it, because now we have some new rules in the Mosaic where students are allowed to now fly some of this experimental airplanes to get their pilot's license. But yes, it was hand built.
Cool.
It took a lot, but it served us well, and it's what I call a modern airplane. So this plane is not just a trainer, but it's a perfect cross-country airplane. If I wanted to go from here to Tennessee or to North Carolina, just jump in and I'm there in 90 minutes.
That's cool. Not many people can say they've built a plane. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. And just to give you guys an idea, there's about already 20 students enrolled for this program, at least for the fall semester, Tyler.
Michael, or Maria, I have to ask if you can ask Michael. I mean, obviously, this is a very in-demand field, so the chance of being able to make good money for pretty much anything in the aviation sector is pretty good, because mechanics are so necessary. They can make some money. Pilots can. I mean, this is a very lucrative business for folks who are entering this program. Yeah.
So actually, I was talking to Michael about that. Michael, earlier, you were telling me about how much money people can make. Just give me an idea, right, of the money someone can make in the field of aviation.
I'll give you a quick breakdown. So you get to the airlines, as a first officer, you're making between $100,000 to $120,000 your first year. By year 3, you're making $250,000. By year 8, you're between $400,000 or $500,000. I personally know airline pilots who bring in $1 million a year. And again, it's not something that's talked about, but this is comparable to being a medical doctor or a lawyer, except you're not in school for 1,000,000 years. You're in school for 2 years and you can make that kind of money.
That's awesome. And you guys are making that happen by having this program so students can also make some good money eventually.
Yes, that is the goal.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. Tyler, I'll send things back to you.
Yeah, Maria, thanks so much for asking that. I mean, obviously, a lot of folks, you already said 20 students have already enrolled, and I'm sure a lot more will be enrolling over the course of the next several months and years ahead as they look to get into the aviation industry. Maria Guzman, thanks so much for joining us and showing us around. As we continue on, so we have been talking about it all morning. The Falcons are back, and we are ready. Training camp kicked off this week, and today fans got to catch a glimpse of them for the first time time for the 2026 season, or ahead of the 2026 season. My good friend Buck Lanford and our Fox 5 Sports DJ Shockley were on hand all morning long in Flowery Branch, and they join us once again with more details.
Well, it feels great out here, doesn't it? It does not feel like July 31st at all.
Not at all.
I mean, and it's Joe and Feldman Day here at training camp. So good job. We appreciate you doing that for us. We're here with the Senior VP of Marketing, Warren Parr. Before we talk about some really awesome opportunities you guys have, what do you think when you look over on that hill? You know, when you have fans out here for the first time, I know that's rewarding for a guy in ticketing sales.
It is. And you know what? We spent the whole month of July, embracing the other football, right?
Oh, yeah. You guys crushed it, by the way, too.
Yeah, congratulations.
It was fantastic. The city did great. The stadium did great. But now it's time for this football, and we can't be more excited. Today's season ticket member day here at training camps. We'll have a couple thousand people here at training camp today for season tickets, for season ticket members. And tomorrow we open up for the general public. It'll be even bigger. First Saturday is always huge for training camp, so we can't be more excited.
Yeah, you talked about tomorrow being a huge day, and we've already heard it's sold out. We know everybody probably won't show up, but still the fact that there's excitement for it. For you, when you look around and you say, you know what, there's a lot of people who want to be involved in what's going on out here, I know it's pretty cool for you guys as well.
Yeah, you know what, we talked about this earlier. Every year in sports, you get a new opportunity to hit the reset and create hope, right? Yeah. And this year, it was even expanded more because we got a new coach, we got a new GM, and we got a president of football that just so happens to be probably the greatest player in franchise history. So that combined with free agency, the draft, we have an unbelievable schedule this year. Those are all things that pile up upon each other to where once we get to where we're at now, where we actually see the guys on the field, we're just ready to go.
You know what I find irritating, Warren? It's when I'm trying to buy a ticket for something and they tack on all these extra fees. I think I'm paying this much, and then all of a sudden I look at the cart and I'm like, what? You guys have a solution, don't you?
We do. So for this weekend, for the first 72 hours, kind of, in celebration of training camp kicking off, we're doing 72 hours and no fees for our single game tickets.
There you go.
No fees.
Those fees that you talk about.
No hidden fees.
No fees. No fees. Those fees are typically about 20% of your purchase. So anyone that buys tickets on Ticketmaster for Falcons games this year, they'll save essentially 20% because we're wiping away the fees this weekend.
Say that again in case they weren't paying attention.
We are wiping away the fees this weekend for training camp.
That is awesome. What a great way to encourage people to go out and buy tickets. And as you mentioned, there's so much to be excited about right now. So much, 32 teams have a lot of optimism, but certainly there's a lot here as well.
There is, and again, every year, and I've been with the organization 21 years. It's a roller coaster ride, and we know that sports are cyclical, right? And in football, especially, as DJ knows, like one or two plays in every game kind of make the game.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
For sure. We're hopeful this year those bounces can go our way, and we'll be where we want to be in January.
Now, you talked about some of the cool things that's going to happen this season. Obviously, a lot of great things going on already. When you look at the home schedule, how much does that play a role into ticket sales when you have a good home schedule like the Falcons have?
Yeah, it's tremendous. Everybody knows the power of the Shield, the power of the brands in the NFL. This year, we've got some big-time teams coming into Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We have the Chiefs, 49ers, Bears, Lions, obviously our division opponents, Panthers, Bucks, the dreaded Saints. We do have a game overseas this year. We're playing in Madrid this year, so that's exciting for us. It's only the second time a game's ever been in Madrid. We've got
and lots of fans are headed to Spain as well, right?
We did a pre-sale for season ticket members. We got about 1,100 season ticket members that are headed to Madrid. So nice. I was in Germany last year for when we were in Berlin. We were actually the road team last year, so the game was kind of themed a little bit, Colts. This year it'll be themed
red and black.
Falcons. We might get a swag surf going at some point in Madrid, so it'll be a good time.
How does that work? Because you guys seem to be on the traveling team when it comes to these European games. The NFL has chosen this organization several times. Why is that? How does that work? And how does that change what you guys do?
Yeah, it's all in the league's effort to just expand the presence globally. And for us, we have a global market presence in Germany, and so that's kind of one of the reasons why they picked us to go there last year. this year we're staying in Europe. We're heading to Madrid, and again, it's only the second time a game's ever been played there. So the more that the league can kind of expand their reach, the more that we can go into these different countries and markets to just expose the game. Again, overseas they're used to the other football.
Yeah, with the
correct. Correct. But we want to get them familiar with our teams, with our players, with our style, and if you guys, I'm sure you guys have been to those games. I mean, it's incredible to see just the amount of fans that come out, the enthusiasm in the country and in the city for NFL football. And it's funny when you go to those games, you won't, when we play Cincinnati out there, you won't just see Falcons and Bengals jerseys.
A little bit of everything, yeah.
You'll see all 32.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of time, but just quickly, one more time in case somebody's joining us. What's happening for these
next
extra
72
fees
hours?
for the next how long? Tell them one more time.
No fees on single game tickets for the Atlanta Falcons for the next 72 hours. Just go to Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets, or AtlantaFalcons.com, and we will get you where you need to be.
You know what that does, DJ? It makes him the MVP of Joanne Feldman Day.
It makes sense. Perfect sense right there. Needs a trophy and all. Yeah,
there you go. Man, this is a big day that just keeps getting bigger.
And obviously lots of excitement out at training camp. And you heard her say Joanne Feldman Day. I mentioned that. I just want to let you know what that means. So essentially, today we found out our chief meteorologist, Joanne Feldman, has been inducted into the Silver Circle for Natus, and they're honoring her today. And actually, it happened to be just a coincidence. Today, Georgia's own credit union is honoring her. This is a live look at the top of their building. And you can see it says Joanne Feldman. So she got two honors today, a big billboard with her name on it and her face. And then also she is the Silver Circle. She'll be honored during a ceremony later on this year. As we come back into the newsroom, we still have a few more things to tell you about on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We're also following some breaking news. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. I want to get to some breaking news we're following right now, see if we can take a live look from near San Diego. This is coming from a chopper shot. They're pulling out rapidly. You can see, oh, look at that. We're getting that wide shot near San Diego. So from our understanding, there has been an aircraft mishap involving an F-35 at Miramar Air Base. That's in the San Diego area. You can see the black charred soot to the end of that runway. They're slowly pushing in right now. I want to make sure you can get this look. This is coming in from our network feeds right now. You can see crews are, looks like, actively putting water on. You see some smoke coming up from some wreckage of some sort there. From our understanding, again, this is near San Diego. Emergency crews are responding to an aircraft mishap involving an F-35. It does look like wreckage of some sort. We don't know of any injuries at this point, but we're obviously, it looks like there's still some flames there. Yep, they're actively spraying it as we're watching this play out live here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. So this is near the San Diego area, Miramar Air Base, and we're unclear exactly what happened, but according to stations in the San Diego area, they're saying that emergency crews responded due to an aircraft mishap. It's unclear exactly what happened, but according to what some outlets are reporting there, it happened just about 45 minutes or so ago. A whole lot of details have not been released at this point, but there might have been some sort of crash involving a military aircraft. We're working to get some more details, but these pictures are coming to us live right now from one of our affiliates out in San Diego who are actively monitoring this situation. As soon as we get an update, we will, of course, try to bring it to you throughout the afternoon here. But again, the news that we are following, emergency crews near San Diego responding to a possible aircraft crash, what is being referred to as an aircraft mishap. Again, unclear exactly what happened. When we started talking about this at the top of after this break, there's getting that focus there. It looks like it was came just a matter of a couple hundred yards from the end of the runway. So not sure what happened, but obviously we're working to get those details. As soon as we get it, we will of course bring it to you. As we come back into the newsroom, we're going to, I'll remove the banners here. I want to talk about something cool that's happening this weekend in Cobb County, and especially if you love arcade games, pinball, classic consoles, this weekend is really for you. I've been hearing about this all week. One of our photographers, Matt Stringer, is planning to be there this weekend. He goes every single year, and so it's the Southern Fried Gaming Expo, and it's taking over the Cobb Galleria with hundreds of games, tournaments, panels, and hands-on fun for gamers of all ages. And I guess a gamer of all age today is our Chris Rosenthal, because he is there. Chris, I know this all gets underway today. Lots of excitement. Tell us about it. Show us what you're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. It officially opens here in about an hour here at the Cobb Convention Center. And but yeah, is the Southern Fried Gaming Expo. They got all kinds of games you can come here and play, like Galaxian, which is from 1980. They have all these arcade games all set up. They have pinball machines, 400 or so games that you can play. And I've got Preston Burt here. He is the one of the co-founders here of the Southern Fried Gaming Expo. And tell me, first of all, just how this all got started. We can kind of walk through here as well. And show
it started because in 2013, fellow arcade collectors and pinball collectors like myself were upset that you couldn't find these things on location, only in friends' basements. So a group of us got together and decided, let's bring this to the masses and bring them out of our basements and let everybody else enjoy it. So it started as an arcade and pinball convention, and then expanded to include all kinds of gaming, from modern and retro video consoles to esports, to board game, tabletop gaming, and it's just grown ever since.
And yeah, I mean, it's out of people's basements in here, kind of all consolidated, all in one place. And people, if they come, they can play all these games, huh?
That's right. Everything that you see, you can play. With your membership, you get ability to play any game on free play, but we also have the opportunity to enter into some tournaments and just a really, really great time.
We come in this room. What are we seeing in here?
All right, so in here you can see our esports area. So this is modern gaming. We've got really competitive gamers playing for Gran Turismo, the driving games. You got Fortnite, and just anything that is really popular right now. They've got PS5s, all the good stuff.
And then other
yeah, we got
up here.
Sit-down Japanese candy cabinets. These are imported from Japan and are really popular. In the very back, you can probably see some rhythm games, Dance Dance Revolution. You can be a little physical with your gaming here. And as you see, we're still underway with load-in, so we've got some fresh out of the trucks.
It's amazing to actually kind of see them like that for real. You know, as they come in like this, all loaded in plastic, just ready to be plugged in. You know, talk about the gaming industry. I mean, it's such a big industry here.
Oh, it's huge. Even back when they first came out in the classic 80s, it was already more than major motion pictures, and it's just continued to bloom and grow. It's billions and billions of dollars, but we celebrate the originals that birthed this industry, and it's just really, really popular.
Yeah, I imagine for a lot of people coming here, it's a lot of maybe a nostalgia with this, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean we have everything from a 1979 Asteroids to the brand new pinball machine that this is the very first time it's ever been displayed. That is the debut at this show.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting, and yeah, we even got the sit-down games here. I mean, it's such an experience. And this is just one of the rooms. You got other rooms. You have some vintage things in the other vintage games and computers in the other room over there.
We got Vintage Computer Festival, so celebrating all kinds of electronics. We got a pinball tournament. We've got robotics, and then in the hotel, we've got tabletop gaming, miniatures, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, all kinds of gaming.
Yeah, so not just in the convention center, but also in the hotel. Some wrestling too, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Live wrestling Friday and Saturday nights, and we got live music Friday and Saturday nights, so it's a big time.
Tell me, logistics of this. People want to come. What do they need to do?
So if you want to come, just come to the hotel, the Renaissance Waverly Hotel and Convention Center. On the second floor, we got registration. You get a membership for $45 on Friday, $55 Saturday, and $30 on Sunday. It's cheaper for kids, and it's even cheaper if you purchase a weekend membership.
Gotcha. And this goes pretty late, huh?
It does. So this hall that we're in closes at midnight, and then the hotel, we've got tabletop board games that go all night long, 24 hours.
We got this Target Terror here. This is, I mean, I imagine in just a few short hours, all of these games are just going to be filled up with people waiting, huh?
Well, not all of them, but there are certain ones that do get a line, and people are really, really excited to play them. So some of them may have a wait, but we always encourage friendly competition. Play with more than just yourself, and have a great time.
Any that are maybe the most populars?
Oh, the most populars are going to be the newest pinball machines. Sonic the Hedgehog pinball machine, which just got released 3 weeks ago, and then we got Bon Jovi pinball machine making its world debut. So that'll be the biggest lines, but best.
I got a little peek at that Bon Jovi machine there a little earlier, and that thing was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean just amazing. I'll tell you, as a kid of the 80s and 90s, there's a lot of nostalgia in here for me. And I know for a lot of other folks coming out here, again, this starts today and goes all weekend here at the Cobb County Convention Center in the Renaissance Waverly Hotel right next door.
Hey, Chris, I know you've only been there for a few minutes so far because you were on a different story earlier, but anything striking your fancy?
I'll tell you, a good old-fashioned Galaga. That brings me back right there. And then some of the vintage games I'm going to show you guys a little bit later. Some of those really will bring me back too. They have some of the old computers from the 80s and 90s over there. Those really take me back.
Rosenthal, looking forward to it. Can't wait to check in with you later on this afternoon at 2 and 3 o'clock, because that looks like it's a fun place, and we're going to try to actually bring people there on Saturday, tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow morning. Chris, what's his name? Matt Stringer, one of our photojournalists, is planning to be there. He's going to join us on Fox 5 News Live at 11, I believe. Chris Rosenthal, thanks so much. We'll check in with you a little bit later. As we come back into the newsroom, I want to see if we can go back to the live pictures coming out of San Diego right now. We're getting a little bit more information. I'm going to take this for you. The Fox station just posting this online just minutes ago. I'm going to read it through with you. So heavy smoke was spotted coming from Marine Corps Air Station Miramar this morning. It's 10 a.m. local time is when this apparently happened in the San Diego area. So that was just about 54 minutes or so ago. And the Fox 5 station there, that's who we're getting this chopper shot from. They said that they spotted the smoke just after 10 a.m., which is 1 o'clock our time here, Eastern. And according to what they're reporting right now, Marine officials have confirmed that emergency personnel are responding to an F-35, and this is in quotes, aircraft mishap. It happened on the flight line. They said the aircraft was assigned to the 3rd Marine Air Wing, Marine Air Group 11, and the fire was in the area of the base that is east of the runway near the intersection of Kearney Villa Road and Johnson Road. If you're familiar with the area, you can tell they've put down what appears to be a white foam of some sort as they work to put out the fire. One of the other stations there in the San Diego area reporting that the aircraft is in 2 separate pieces, and apparently an F-35 involved in an aircraft mishap. There's a lot of questions we don't know. We don't know what happened. We don't know if any people were injured, if the person who was on board, that pilot, if they were able to eject. But you can just see how big that plume of, with that smoke still coming up, but how long. Looks like a football field wide area that has charred. Firefighters appear to be on scene, but this is breaking right now. An aircraft mishap reported at the Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. This is in the San Diego area. This chopper shot coming from KSWB, which is the Fox 5 affiliate in San Diego. They're giving us some of the information right now. We're going to stay on top of this and bring you updates throughout the afternoon. As we come back into our newsroom, that is going to do it for us for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. But we have a lot of news to get to this afternoon. My good friend Ariel Onstadt will be joining you for the news at 2 at the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us. Make it a great weekend, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here on your Friday afternoon. Let's get right into it because we've got a lot of news to get to on your Friday afternoon. We're going to start off in Midtown this afternoon. We're learning more about a shooting at 7th and Peachtree in Midtown Atlanta. Ultimately, our Tara Jabor is working to get more details. This happened in Midtown last night, a very busy area, Tara, with several businesses and restaurants. And Tara, I have to say, I was actually walking in that area this morning, and I saw what appears to be a bullet that went through the window of the Starbucks on the corner there.
Yeah, Ariel, that's right. And that's exactly where we're standing. We know that one person was shot here last night around 10 o'clock. Take a look at this window from this Starbucks. You can see that a bullet clearly hit this window. And there's a couple other businesses on this street that were also hit by that gunfire last night. Now, as you mentioned, this, of course, is a very busy part of Midtown at Peachtree Street and 7th. There's a number of different restaurants. There's lots of apartments and different shops in this area. And as you can tell, a lot of people are walking around. Now, police say that a 27-year-old was shot here last night at around 10 o'clock. They say that victim was alert and talking to police, but they were taken to the hospital, and we have no word yet on a suspect. So we spoke to someone who works at On's Kitchen. That's a restaurant just a couple stores down from where we're standing right now. Now, their front door was hit by gunfire last night. An employee told us that they were shocked to hear a shooting happened right outside their business. Let's take a listen.
What came in this morning is so crazy because we never got get in like this thing stuff, you know. The window just broke down and that's crazy. And then I called my coworker last night, and then he told us what happening. Yeah. He said the bullet went over his head.
So I live right here on Peachtree and 7th, and I was on FaceTime last night, and I heard maybe 15 shots.
And again, Ariel, no word yet on a suspect. We'll, of course, keep you updated as we learn more.
Just wanting to make sure I understand correctly here, I understand that there was the business where you're at now, Starbucks, that has the damage to its front, to that window. Want to make sure I heard correctly. Were windows at On's Kitchen nearby also damaged?
Yeah, they were. The front door there is totally missing because gunfire hit the front door there. So when I talked to the employee, he said they're not really sure when they're going to get it replaced, but of course they eventually will. Right now, their front door is just boarded up, but they are still open.
And finally, Tara, police, did they say a dispute led up to this, or they haven't fully clarified? Just want to make sure I heard you correctly as well on that.
Yeah, we haven't gotten an update yet on police on what led up to this shooting. Preliminarily, what they told us was just that a 27-year-old was injured and that they don't have a description of that suspect yet.
Okay, good to know. Tara, thank you so much. Very busy area there of Midtown. Thankfully, no one else was hurt. We'll continue to keep you updated as we get any new information. In the meantime, I want to let you know that Atlanta police have recovered a stolen car that was holding a toddler inside. Let's talk about it. A 21-year-old man has been arrested after allegedly stealing an idling vehicle with a 2-year-old inside of the vehicle. This happened Thursday afternoon here in Atlanta, and police responded to the report of a stolen vehicle with that toddler at 930 Spring Street Northwest, also in Midtown. This happened around 4:30 yesterday, and ultimately the preliminary investigative details show that the vehicle was left running with that child inside, a little girl, when the theft occurred. Officers tracked down the vehicle and the child and suspect about 3 miles away to a strip mall located on Howell Mill Road. Police took 21-year-old Salim Martin into custody without further incident. The child was not hurt and was reunited with their parents. Officers canvassed the Midtown scene for video footage and placed a man in handcuffs into the back of a patrol car at the Publix parking lot. Witnesses at the scene reported seeing emergency lights, ambulances, and children's blankets inside the recovered vehicle. We flew our Skyfox 5 over the Publix shopping center around Collier Road at around 5 o'clock last night and spotted a mother and 2 children working there with authorities. So So we'll keep you updated as this moves forward, but this is just a good reminder. Atlanta police taking this opportunity to highlight, never leave your car idling and unlocked. That's just, you never know what can happen, especially with a child in the back seat. And so ultimately, another thing to keep in mind here is that Martin is facing, as you might imagine, multiple felonies. He's looking at kidnapping, entering a vehicle with a intent to commit theft, and cruelty to children, and he is expected to appear in court. And we will keep you updated as this moves forward. Let's talk about a drug bust, another drug bust, if you will, in Athens, Georgia. We're learning more about this massive seizure. You're looking at roughly nearly $75,000 in cash and guns and a trafficking quantity level of fentanyl. On Wednesday, the Northeast Georgia Regional Drug Task Force concluded a targeted investigation into a fentanyl distribution operation running throughout Athens. The task force worked with the Athens-Clarke County Police Department's gang unit, traffic unit, and canine unit to carry out these traffic stops and execute search warrants in properties linked to the suspect. They executed 3 search warrants across the area, and during the search, they recovered a substantial haul of illegal drugs, weapons, and assets tied to this distribution enterprise. You're looking at $74,000 in U.S. currency, a trafficking level of fentanyl, 4 firearms, and 4 vehicles used in the furtherance of a drug trafficking operation. Those are not pictured, but officers say that those were recovered, and they ultimately arrested 56-year-old Darren Turner of Athens in connection with this illegal enterprise. He is facing multiple charges. If you have any further information about any drug activity, you can submit it to the Athens Police Department, Athens-Clarke County Police Department tip line. We have that number on our website. It is 706-613-3297. Let's talk about 2 men who have now been charged in a drive-by shooting on a convenience store. This happened in Hall County, and ultimately the drive-by shooting happened early Wednesday morning, and 2 people have now been charged. According to the Hall County Sheriff's Office, the investigation stems from an incident at the Stop By Food Mart. This is on Dahlonega Highway, and deputies responded to the business at around 1 a.m. after receiving reports of gunfire. According to the initial investigation, 2 men arrived at the store in a red Ford Escape SUV and entered the business to purchase alcoholic beverages. The 36-year-old male clerk refused the sale, and the suspects argued with him before leaving the store. 2 women customers aged 39 and 52 were in the parking lot at the time. The 39-year-old woman argued with one of the suspects in defense of the clerk before the suspects drove away in the SUV. The customers stayed in the parking lot. Police then say at least one of these men fired gunshots in the distance after they drove off. The SUV then returned and passed the store with its occupants yelling from the vehicle, and turned around and passed the store again, at which time police say the passenger fired a handgun towards the business while the 2 women were still standing in the parking lot. No one was hurt, but deputies had issued a be on the lookout for the SUV while investigators responded and found 2 bullet holes inside the building. Later in the day, the Lumpkin County Sheriff's Office located that SUV and detained 2 men, and they were able to interview them and figure out their identities and believe they are the suspects. They were arrested by 2 o'clock. You're taking a look at Travis Ian White, a 17-year-old on the left there from Adairsville. He is charged with 3 counts of felony aggravated assault. Investigators also charged him with 3 counts of misdemeanor reckless conduct and misdemeanor possession of a pistol by a person under 18. The driver, Cooper Lane Robinson, is 23 years old of Murrayville. He is on the right there, and he is facing 3 felony counts of party to a crime of aggravated assault. Both are were booked into the Hall County Jail after their arrests. We will keep you updated as this moves forward, as always. So let's now talk about a situation unfolding in Gilmer County. We understand a man is missing, and at this point, there is no idea as to where he is, and authorities are working furiously to find him. Our Ray Urena joins us live from outside Carter's Lake. And Ray, what can you share on this case?
Well, right now, Ariel, we are standing in Murray County, and that's because on the other side of the lake, that is Gilmer County, and that's where investigators believe that 37-year-old Sean Cunningham initially launched his canoe from back on Tuesday, and they say that he took cover during some severe storms at about 11 o'clock at night, that's when they say that he was last heard from. He was on the phone taking cover underneath the dock due to the severe weather that came through North Georgia. And ever since then, his family members have not been able to get a hold of him. And deputies and Georgia DNR, they're on the lake right now searching for him. They actually just had a helicopter above us about an hour ago, kind of scanning about 2 square miles of the lake to help find 37-year-old Sean Cunningham. And we do have video of that helicopter going around right now. But again, it's about 2 square miles and a little bit about Carter's Lake. It's one of the deeper lakes in Georgia. According to Explore Georgia, it can reach depths of more than 450 feet. So it's definitely a deep sort of lake. But here's what law enforcement have told us. They've been searching since Wednesday. That's when they got the call, early Wednesday, and they've been on the lake ever since then. They've had sonar, they've had cadaver dogs, they've had helicopters, all searching for Sean Cunningham. And right now they have been able to recover his backpack. That's how they were able to identify Sean as this missing person, but they have not been able to recover his canoe. DNR says that they believe that canoe, that green canoe he was last seen on, may have sunk, and they believe it has sunk. So right now they're working with limited details as to where he was, exactly when Sean was last seen, exactly at what point, because as you might remember on Tuesday, we had a lot of heavy wind, had a lot of heavy lightning, so that may have adjusted his position. But just to show you, over here, Gilmer County, that's about 2 miles that direction. We traveled all the way around the lake, and we measured it from Crows to as straight as a crow flies. It's about 2 miles here to Murray County. So it's a multi-jurisdictional operation going on, and we want to play a soundbite here from Georgia DNR about the status right now of what they're dealing with. Take a listen.
We trying to cover the areas that he was known to be in, the area he was going, the points in between, also where the backpack was located, just trying to cover those points in between, utilizing side scan sonar, underwater ROVs, and cadaver dogs, to look for any kind of thing like that may give us an indication of where he may be. Since we got the call on the 29th, we've had sonar on scene pretty much 24 hours, a day ever since. I'm still currently running that sonar along with Gilmer County and the dogs also.
And DNR wants to stress that right now it is still a missing persons case. I asked for clarification if they've shifted away from a search and rescue or search and recovery, and they insisted that this is still a missing persons case. They're also checking the lake to see if Sean might be in the lake or he might be elsewhere. But as of right now, deputies and law enforcement, they're covering a pretty wide area here in between 2 counties here in North Georgia, Ariel.
Right, such a scary situation. I mean, you go out on the lake in a canoe, severe weather pops up on you, and you find yourself trying to get cover in all of it. So I can only imagine how worried his family must be. I hope police and these searchers with the DNR are able to find some clues and ultimately find him safe. So that was going to be my question as well, is this a recovery mission yet? And good to know that they are still hopeful at this point that they can find him.
Yeah, they're still hopeful that they can find him. They're asking anybody if they have seen him or see him, just to give Georgia DNR a call as fast as they can. Georgia DNR also says that Mr. Cunningham is from Florida, that he came up to North Georgia to get away, just to be able to do some camping, some canoeing. They say his friends and family have also driven up here to North Georgia to take part of it. So his family and friends are up here, and they're, like you said, just as worried as these investigators are to try and find them as fast as possible.
Ray, thank you for the update. We'll stay tuned, and hopefully you're able to have some positive news for us here later this evening when you join us again. So thank you. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys, let's go out to Paulding County, where a moratorium has now temporarily been placed on any new data centers in the county. This comes after strong pushback from the community, but ultimately the Paulding County Board of Commissioners has put this temporary moratorium in effect to give officials time to update the county's county's development codes. During a Tuesday meeting, commissioners unanimously approved this piece of legislation. It's going to be in effect until January of next year. One thing they say is that they believe it's important to think about everything and to make sure that they understand what it would look like to have data centers in the county moving forward. One Commissioner Virginia Galloway, also encouraged residents to send research and studies to a specialized email on the matter that will be set up. A lot of residents have voiced their concerns, and the county wants to make sure they're taking all voices into consideration and they understand all of the concerns as they move forward. The vote follows weeks of intense community pushback, during which homeowners packed public forums to fight zoning rules that would have allowed large-scale data centers in their neighborhoods. The tension stems from 4 technology park overlay districts previously established in the county. One of these districts sits near Bethel Church Road and Highway 92, and the county created these special districts through text amendments to the existing code rather than the standard property rezoning process, and it would allow developers to bypass traditional public hearing notices, something that left a lot of residents feeling blindsided. Homeowners raised alarms that the massive facilities would trigger spikes in local power bills, create nonstop industrial noise, and damage the local environment. Once the moratorium was approved, the meeting room erupted with applause from the public sitting in the room. Stark difference from previous meetings where a lot of angry taxpayers got up to the stand to protest. Take a listen to what one man shared with us.
It needs to be in a responsible place that has the infrastructure set up, that's commercial, that's industrial, that's an area where it's already set up, instead of placing this in rural Paulding County.
Keep in mind, some critics accuse county officials of using quiet code changes to dodge public scrutiny. Post 2 Commissioner Sandy Ketcher defended the board's process during the meeting. She told the crowd that commissioners spent significant time researching the impacts of data centers. We'll continue to keep you updated as this moves forward because, again, this moratorium does not apply to any pending data center zoning approvals. So basically, if different pending pieces of legislation were approved before this moratorium went into effect, it's unclear how this is going to affect it moving forward. So we'll keep you updated there. Let's go out to Capitol Hill now, where there is drama. When isn't there on Capitol Hill, right? But there is drama surrounding President Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General. And it's not so much his pick specifically as it relates to a settlement with the IRS that is causing major concerns. Let's talk about it. President Trump is trying to keep his Attorney General on the job without Senate confirmation. The 2 Republicans currently blocking Todd Blanche's nomination, however, say they're not the only ones with major concerns. President Trump's pick for Attorney General, Todd Blanche, has stalled in the Senate, and the president now says he may pull Blanche's nomination entirely until after the midterms. The president wrote on Truth Social Thursday saying that this may be his plan. Keep in mind, John Cornyn and Tom Tillis, 2 Republicans, are the senators standing in the way, and a no vote from either one tanks Blanche's nomination. The reason behind the protests goes back to the Justice Department's controversial settlement agreement between President Trump and the IRS that also shields Trump from audits. Now, Senator Cornyn from Texas is saying for all of the affiliated organizations for the president and his family, which I could understand could range into the hundreds, because basically that agreement also includes future tax immunity, and this is something that Senator Tillis is suggesting. It's not just the president who's fighting for it. He says this is not about Blanche. Blanche is negotiating in good faith, but ultimately he's concerned about this settlement agreement between the president and the IRS and the corruption that he believes it could allow. Both lawmakers want confirmation that the DOJ's proposal for a $1.8 billion weaponization fund is truly dead. Keep in mind, Senator Cornyn says that he wants it in writing so it's enforceable, and so far the Justice Department has been unwilling to do that. They also are concerned that if it's not put in writing, Blanche, as Attorney General, could kill that document as well. Both Cornyn and Tillis are leaving office in January, and President Trump has suggested he would keep Blanche on as acting Attorney General until both of those senators leave their posts. So we will keep you updated on that. I want to tell you that ultimately, after 5 months of conflict between the United States and Iran, we are continuing to see tit-for-tat strikes between the two nations. Experts say that this is part of an Iranian strategy to broaden the war and show the world the regime can outlast the American military. Ultimately, President Trump has told Fox News this morning that the United States is now engaged in a new round of heavy airstrikes on Iranian military targets. He says that this will eventually bring the Iranians back to the bargaining table. But on Friday, Kuwait reported new Iranian airstrikes on bases there. Iran says they were targeting American military facilities in retaliation for the recent U.S. airstrikes. So it's a lot of tit for tat going on here. And ultimately, this is what experts believe could be a part of a broader Iranian strategy to widen the war and destabilize the region. Iran is also signaling they're not willing to budge on two key sticking points, giving up their nuclear program and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. While diplomats are still working to get a ceasefire in place, some experts are saying the Iranian military is now calling the shots and that the civilian government in Iran is just completely inept at this point. President Trump says that this new round of airstrikes is going to last several days. In the meantime, President Trump did hold a cabinet meeting this morning at Camp David. This is the 13th cabinet meeting that the president has held since beginning his second term. And during this previous term, the president held a cabinet meeting retreat at Camp David as well. At the meeting, the president discussed the recent cyber attack in Minnesota, and Vice President J.D. Vance discussed the administration's crackdown on fraud in America. Take a listen.
Today, I just want to mention that we heard in Minnesota there was a cyber attack, and they blame it on Iran. I don't think so. I blame it on Minnesota because they're grossly incompetent. There was a cyber attack of 30 water plants, and I would blame it on Minnesota and the governor, the corrupt governor of Minnesota. They like to say, oh, it was Iran. Iran should be so lucky. Iran's got bigger problems than worrying about Minnesota.
First is that just since the beginning of the fraud task force that I started under the president's leadership and direction, we have identified $230 billion of fraud that's being perpetrated against the American people, and we have halted already $56 billion of that. It's sometimes hard, once the money has already gone out the door, it's hard to get it back. But stopping it from going out the door is how we save the American people. $56 billion, and of course we're going to keep on working on that.
All right. Ultimately, there is no proof that Minnesota's governor had anything to do with the recent cyber attack of more than 30 municipal water and wastewater systems across the state. U.S. investigators say they are still looking into whether Iran carried out that attack or not. And a little backstory on the cyber attacks in Minnesota, in case you are just now hearing of this. Ultimately, it has targeted more than 30 water systems across the state, and it happened Sunday and Monday. The residents in Minnesota, residents there, have not been affected by the attacks, but one city in Minnesota had asked residents to conserve water for a few hours while they tried to figure out the cause. The FBI has not publicly identified a culprit, and it comes amid warnings that Iranian hackers have been targeting water and wastewater infrastructure here. Back in 2016, the Justice Department charged a group of Iranian hackers in connection to a cyber attack targeting a small dam near New York City. Typically, local water plants and healthcare facilities often lack the funds and technology to install the latest software patches for security, which can leave them vulnerable. Coming up here, you guys, we are going to talk your local weather forecast with meteorologist Alex Forbes. It is feeling really nice here in North Georgia. Kind of a breath of fresh air to have lower humidity than we're used to. As always, it's the calm before the storm. It doesn't last. Meteorologist Alex Forbes will chat about it here coming up. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Ariel Onstadt here with meteorologist Alex Forbes. Alex, I have to say, and maybe you guys can agree, these cooler temperatures, the low humidity, it has done wonders for my mental health the past couple days. Unfortunately, it has happened while we are at work and cannot fully take advantage.
Leave it to me to be the bearer of bad news for the weekend. I hope you got outside and will get outside to enjoy it today, this evening, right? It's 6, 7 o'clock. Going to feel fantastic out there. The Braves game going to feel fantastic, and then we're back to reality tomorrow. And it's not going to be just the humidity building back in. It's going to be showers and storms as well. So let's check it out. 87 here in Atlanta, and it actually feels like the 87 temperature that we're seeing in the city. 86 in Rome, 85 in Dalton, 81 over in Blairsville, 87 in Athens, and 93 in Eatonton at this hour. So the reason why it is so dry is because of the cold front that came through a couple of nights ago. It's the Tuesday night front, the one that fired off the tornado in Pickens County and also prompted some flash flooding there in parts of Gilmer County. Now, look back off towards the northwest, over towards the Missouri Boot Heel, about to cross the Mississippi River, getting some storms firing up, right? And they look pretty stout. No warnings with them, but that piece of energy is going to roll towards northern Georgia by the time we get to the evening hours tomorrow. We'll talk more about that in a second. But first, might notice some hazy skies still across the metro. The flow of smoke from Canada has been cut off, but the smoke that's here needs to mix out before the hazy skies begin to go away. So do expect that into the evening hours tonight. But for the remainder of the day today, how about this? Temperatures only adding a couple more degrees. Humidity, not too bad. Sign me up. Great weather tonight for the Nationals and Braves. First pitch is at 7:15. It is 1996 Olympics night out at Truist Park, in case you didn't know, marking the 30-year anniversary of the Centennial Olympics here in the city. So that's kind of fun. Here we go. Over the next 7 days, rain chances, boom. There you go tomorrow, 70%, 50% on Sunday, and then remaining unsettled next week. Let's talk a little more about tomorrow. Through the remainder of the day today, we are going to be dry. But then by 7, 8 o'clock, in fact, this is a new run of our Barron 3K model. If you were watching last hour, this is a little different. Look over into Alabama, already getting a lot of storms firing up. And this particular model is trying to bring in a line of broken storms. And Ariel, if the hour by hour looks like this at noon tomorrow, I think we would have many strong storms, because what you would get are these individual storms out ahead of the main line, and with a cold front, that's not good from a damaging wind perspective. So, we'll watch that through the afternoon, things quieting down by 4 or 5 o'clock, and then into the evening, look back off to the west. You get another round of storms trying to fire up overnight, and then those move off into eastern Georgia. So I think waves of storms will be possible here through the weekend. There's Sunday afternoon, again, not as much wet weather, but for tomorrow, do be on the lookout for that level 1 in northwest Georgia, clipped by a level 2 now. I highly suspect, in fact, I was surprised when it updated here an hour ago that it did not shift more into the metro Atlanta area. I think we have a severe weather threat in and around the city, maybe not a level 2, but, I would be paying attention tomorrow. This is not the Alex Forbes severe weather outlook. This is the Storm Prediction Center one. So, we'll see what that ends up doing. There's your Fox 5 Storm Team 7-day forecast. I'm going to go look at all the numbers here, and, this is the last time you'll see this specific forecast. We'll have a new one for you here at 3 o'clock.
Okay, good to know. Alex, thanks. Definitely making the most of our Friday before the weekend brings whatever it may bring.
It's bringing me a Braves game. So
yeah, good. Hey, go enjoy it. Enjoy it for me. Okay, guys, let's talk about how crazy this is, because, I don't know, Alex, maybe the big question is, would you ride inside one of these? No. I knew that was going to be your answer. So guess what? A robo-taxi company called Zoox, backed by Amazon, has won approval to ditch the steering wheel. Federal regulators have approved robo-taxis to now operate without steering wheels and eventually even without brake pedals. Amazon's fully autonomous Zoox vehicles got approval yesterday to begin offering rides in cars with inward-facing seats and no steering wheel. Last month, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration proposed a rule to also allow robo-taxis to operate without brake pedals. That proposal is still pending. Take a listen to what someone with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has to say, and then an advocate for highway and auto safety.
Vehicle Safety Act does give the ability of the agency to grant an exemption to a developer In this instance, Zoox is a vehicle that has no manual controls, no mirrors, no need for mirrors with an automated driving system. And the cabin configuration, you have passengers facing itself, kind of like you're sitting around a campfire. So very different, innovative design. And they were able to demonstrate to the agency that their vehicle as designed, and as those features, for instance, the braking system, that's at least as safe as a compliant braking system.
One, and really our overarching concern is there was not any data or testing results presented that demonstrated that the autonomous driving system that was going to be controlling this vehicle could operate safely on public roads.
Ooh, all righty. So yeah, can you imagine getting into just a little cube like this and it drives you around? I hear Ella switching our 2 o'clock show for us talked about how she gets car sick just facing forward. So facing backwards probably a big no. Someone here in our TikTok chat saying Marie Bella J chiming in as per usual, going what is that? Yeah, I get it. So this comes as companies like Zoox are trying to catch up to industry leader Waymo, which we already have here in Atlanta and operating in several cities. I will say, though, getting in an autonomous vehicle where you recognize the design and what it looks like, and it looks like a car you might already drive, a little more comfortable, say, potentially, than something like this where it's very unfamiliar. So we'll keep you updated as these proposals move forward. In the meantime, we're going to bring you closer to home here. University has launched a new aviation degree. We're going to talk about a partnership making this possible coming up. Well, welcome in, you guys. Thanks so much for being here live with us at 2 o'clock. I want to talk about a developing story we have for you here. We're getting more information about a situation unfolding in San Diego. And I want to take you out live to some images here in our newsroom. And this is coming from our sister station out in San Diego. Ultimately, heavy smoke has been spotted coming from the Marine Corps Air Station just this morning. We understand that a Fox team out there, a Fox 5 team in San Diego, driving near MCIS Miramar, spotted this smoke just after 10 in the morning. And marine officials confirm emergency personnel are responding to an F-35 aircraft mishap. This happened on a flight line. They say the aircraft was assigned to the 3rd Marine Air Wing, Marine Air Group 11, and the fire was in the area of the base that is east of the runways. So not sure fully what is going on there. We will keep you updated, but keep in mind, based on what we are seeing from these images, we were able to look above a short time ago. Right now, this is from some distance, but above it showed what appeared to be a burned aircraft near the base. Not sure whether or not anyone has been hurt, what is happening, and what has caused this incident. So we will keep you updated as we get new information. Keep in mind, the crash comes nearly 18 months after a EA-18G Growler jet from a naval air station crashed into the San Diego Bay as it tried to land. The pilots of that aircraft were able to eject and were rescued by a fishing boat. We will keep you updated on this situation as we get new details into our newsroom. In the meantime, let's bring you here closer to home. I want to take you out to a new program that is launching, a new associate's degree, actually. Our Maria Guzman joins us live. And Maria, I understand that Beulah Heights University is partnering with Lookup Flight Academy to make this possible.
Yes, so they are partnering together and they are preparing for their first cohort. They're going to be able to have about 20 students starting in just 2 weeks. So we're getting very close to back to school time. But I'm here in Lawrenceville in the academy that they're going to be coming and learning from. I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera around to introduce you guys to the director here at Lookup Flight Academy, David.
Hi, Maria.
So David, let's say I'm a student that's going through the school. Just walk me through the steps, right? What am I going to be learning here at the academy?
Absolutely. So in the second portion of our partnerships with BHU, you would go into your ground classes. Immediately when you're done with your ground classes at BHU, you'll come into Lookup Flight Academy, and this is actually where you actually get the hands-on, the physical, touching the airplane, getting to know everything that you just taught in the classroom setting, but now actually in person. So you'll actually jump in the plane, start simulating, and then at the same time, physically go in the air and go do what we've been practicing.
I love that this program really addresses some challenges, right? A shortage and also accessibility.
Yes.
So talk to me first off about the shortage. What are you guys often seeing in the aviation workforce?
Absolutely. So not only are we in need of dire pilots, right, but in aviation in general, the mechanic side of the fence, the dispatching, there's so many avenues in just aviation that is short. We need the pilots, we need the mechanics, we need the dispatchers, we need you, honestly speaking. So if you are able to train and you want to train in aviation, come down to Lookup Flight Academy. We need it. The aviation field in general, we need it.
And talk to me, for example, how much it costs, right? If someone is interested, I know it can be a lot of money, but through the school, they are making that possible.
Yes. So aviation in general is very, very expensive. Some have the opportunity and most don't, right? So being able to partner with BHU, it gives us an opportunity to now use government assistance, to use FAFSA money, to use all these Pell Grants, these scholarships. It's a huge partnership to get people to the next level.
Awesome. For example, how much does it cost, for example, without any help from the government?
Yes, a lot. An arm and a leg. So you could come anywhere and become a leisure pilot such as myself, and it could cost you roughly from $15,000 to $17,000. That number can scale if we're trying to go to the airlines to about $100,000.
Wow. So obviously a lot of money, and through help from the government, some students are going to be able to become pilots and make that dream a reality.
God willing, yes.
Awesome. Talk to me about these cool planes. Obviously these catch everyone's attention. So are these some of the planes that students are going to be able to fly in eventually?
That's the main goal, yes. So look, here at Lookup Flight Academy, in partnerships with BHU, we've heavily invested over $1 million in buying the planes that we fly. These planes are brand new 2025s. We took the plastic off of them. They're called Viper SD4s. Viper, and they're as fast as the Vipers that you see in today's day, but it's technically the most modern advanced airplanes. So when you come in to Lookup Flight Academy, you are flying today's day. So you're not going to come in to look up and fly yesterday's plane and try to be tomorrow's pilot. You're going to be tomorrow's pilot in today's plane. Absolutely.
Walk me through the reaction of students in general, right, who are in the program, the future students, just the reaction that they often show that you're able to see.
Well, I call these my toys. So every time I'm giving a tour and somebody comes in and I say, look at the toys, and the first reaction is the wow, that wow factor. Like, do I actually get to fly this? 100%. Day one, you will actually go in the air and physically take the controls alongside your CFI, your certified flight instructor, and actually get a feel of to what it's like, similar to Top Gun in the movie, but now we're doing it in real life.
That is awesome. So again, this program is about to kick off in about 2 weeks. We're expecting about 20 students to be a part, and then eventually they'll come here to the Academy. Ariel.
Really incredible opportunity, Maria, for those who are trying to get a start into aviation. I know it can be expensive, like you guys were talking about, and it is definitely for the passionate, because I think about putting myself in that little cylinder in that tube and taking control, and thought sounds pretty terrifying. So really cool that they're offering this, and for those who want to get more into the field and potentially even become a commercial pilot. So Maria Guzman, thanks so much for joining us live. We will see you again here upcoming at 3 o'clock. You guys, I want to talk a little bit now about a one-on-one interview that our Buck Langford and DJ Shockley were able to do with Falcons wide receiver Zachariah Branch. It has been Falcons training camp this week. A lot of developments with the team as they look ahead to the upcoming season. Let's talk about what this wide receiver is looking forward to.
We're out here with Falcons rookie receiver Zachariah Branch. You were just talking about the weather today, man. It's almost like stealing to have a forecast like this in July, and it's not going to last, right?
Definitely. No, it's a great weather today. Definitely know it's not going to last, so, going to buckle up and get ready for that.
Yeah. ZB, first off, man, what's it been like to have this experience? You get drafted, you come to the Falcons, but what's been kind of the overarching feeling you've had since you got here?
It's been great. I feel nothing but love since I got here from everybody from top to bottom. From the cafeterias, people, nutrition, strength and conditioning, the coaching staff, the players, everybody just pretty welcoming, and just everybody has an end goal. And, I feel like we all have the same mindset, which makes us, gel overall. So it's been pretty good just getting a chance to learn from the vets, the coaches put us in great positions. So I've been loving everything so far.
The skill set that you bring would be a lot of fun, I think, for a coach or an OC to kind of work with. What kind of goals do you have for yourself as a rookie, different ways that you can be worked into this offense?
I really just want to be a playmaker overall. It doesn't really matter what level I'm getting the ball. Maybe it's special teams, maybe it's offense. I just want to take advantage of my opportunities to be able to help my team be in the best position possible in the end.
Z, what's changed when you think about going from high school, there's a different level, to college a different level now to the NFL? Where have you seen the biggest difference from where you was at last year playing in the SEC to where you are now in the National Football League?
It definitely is. I feel like Georgia did a great job preparing me, for these opportunities. But I feel like the biggest thing for me was getting my head around. That ball was getting there pretty quick. So that was the biggest thing for me. And then just, making sure I was staying consistent with, taking notes and just doing my walkthroughs in my house, in my room. Because we're actually doing a new thing that I guess the vets were saying, it's non-traditional that, we will not have meetings before practice. So we'll have meetings at night and then go straight to practice with no meetings just to see how much we retain. So just being prepared and just being able to do the walkthroughs and make sure I'm retaining the information, because at the next level I feel like there's a lot more mental reps than physical. So just capitalizing on those and being ready for that opportunity when it does come.
From your perspective, what's it like, this quarterback situation that the Falcons are in right now? You got two left-handed quarterbacks, both banged up, not participating fully right now, a couple of right-handed young guys. Does it matter to you who you're working with the quarterback at this point in the season? Does that affect you at all?
No, it doesn't affect me. My main mindset is really just to control what I can, and just control the opportunities that I get. I try to take advantage of it, make sure my assignment is pretty sound, and I'm in the right spot for whatever quarterback's in the game, so everybody is comfortable. So I'm just trying to take advantage of that and just have fun with it.
You've had a chance to go through OTAs, mini camps with Mike Mike and also with Tua, what do you like about both those guys, and what do they bring to the table that, you know, maybe the common fan may not know, but you get a chance to catch with them and be in meetings with them, hear them talk in the huddle, all that kind of stuff. When you think about it, what are the differences and what do you like about them?
Yeah, they're both very intellectual and they're very intentional, you know, by the way that they approach things. I feel like that all the details, and they're very detail-oriented on, you know, the certain things, you know, having another protection and having to shift somebody from here over to there. You know, everybody's always on it. Both of those guys are super on it, and their accuracy is very, very precise as well. You know, sometimes you may have to change your angle on a certain route, but, you know, essentially you're trying to get back to that landmark, but they're always going to find a way to put the ball in the right spot to give you a chance to go make the play. So, you know, I've been having a good time just getting a chance to learn them, you know, on the field and then off the field as well. Just, you know, talking to Mike and Tua and just figuring out different things that they like. You know, me and Tua was talking about chess the other day. I got to get back on my game. He was telling me he can get people in 3 moves, so I got to get back on it. But they're great people.
How much different was it today? So you had a couple of days without fans here. Now you ratchet it up. You have the season ticket holder, so you're performing in front of someone. And then tomorrow it's kind of wide open, so it's going to be likely a lot of people out here tomorrow. How different is that for you?
I feel like I'm definitely used to, you know, large crowds and things like that, especially from high school at a young age, being at Bishop Gorman. We playing top teams in the country every single week, so I don't think the crowd really phases me, you know, in a sense, but it's definitely fun just to feel the atmosphere from the fans and just, you know, and that they're showing love out there and supporting us, so it definitely makes us want to go harder for them and put on a show for them.
I've seen you make a bunch of plays already from OTA to mini camp, even the first 3 days here in camp. And we was talking to Drake about it. He said, yeah, I remember him came into USC. He was that dude, and we still got him on our wing now. Mike said that dude is really good at football. But from your perspective, what does it felt like to come into the National Football League and already say, you know what, I can play at this level. I can make these kind of plays and to go out and put it on tape?
It's really just a blessing. You know, God blessed me with the ability. So my main goal is just to, you know, try to enhance those as much as I can, because I would be doing him a disservice for the ability that he's given me. So just trying to take every single nugget from all the guys like Drake, Jahan, OZ, all the veteran guys, you know, who have been helping me out this whole time. And then I'm just trying to learn as much as I can to help the team be as best as possible. But, you know, I'm definitely excited about how everything's going.
I'm going to ask you this question before Shock does. All right, how about Georgia? Let me tell me what Georgia looks like this year. What are you expecting from those Bulldogs?
Hey, they dogs. You know, I don't expect anything less. You know, SEC championship, we need it again. You know what I'm saying? 3-peat, let's do it. And then, you know, the ultimate goal last year, we kind of came up short. You know, obviously wanted to get to that national championship. So, you know, I want to see those guys go ahead and do it.
Z, last thing I got for you, man. What are the expectations you have for yourself heading into this season? Obviously, still a rookie, still trying to figure out your bearings, how things go. But when you look at what's ahead, what are you most excited about as you get ready for, hey, you got a preseason game coming up here in a couple of weeks. You're going to be playing big-time football.
Definitely. You know, I don't really have too many expectations going into it. Really just, like I said, controlling what I can. You know, I don't know how many opportunities I'm going to get, but, you know, when I do get them, I'm going to try to make sure I'm ready for those opportunities to, you know, help my team be as best as possible. But it's pretty crazy. Time's flying. Like, we're about to have a preseason game coming up soon, and it's always been a dream of mine to, you know, play at the next level. So just trying to just make sure I can, you know, have that longevity and control what I can.
And I ain't going to give away what we've seen in practice, but I've seen a couple of wrinkles that they got from my man, from my dog ZB, to get him to rock, so that's going to be fun to see too.
Yes, sir, and I'm definitely waiting for sure.
I know that fans are excited to see what you're going to bring to the table. People that followed you at USC, people that followed you at Georgia, and now here Falcons fans. So I know they're excited to see what you're going to bring to the table this year. We appreciate your time today.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, well, lots to look forward to from Zachariah Branch here this season. As always, our Fox 5 Sports team is on it, and we'll keep you updated as the season progresses. You guys, coming up, we're going to talk about Southern Fried Gaming. Does it sound crazy? Yeah, I was intrigued too. We're going to talk about what this means coming up. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ariel Unstad. Thanks so much for being here on your Friday afternoon. I said we were going to talk some Southern Fried Gaming. Well, let's do it, because if you're curious about what this means, I understand it's a mix of new and vintage. Our Chris Rosenthal out checking it out for us, as he does. Chris, are you playing, is that Pac-Man?
It's actually called Munchman. This is from the early 80s. It's a TI 99 game console here. One of the many, you can actually come here and play at the Southern Fried Gaming Expo here at the Cobb County Convention Center, which is where I am at. Yeah, they have a whole bunch of vintage games. I'm in the vintage game section now. A little earlier, I was in more of the arcade and the pinball section here. But what's really cool is these nostalgic vintage games from the 70s, 80s, 90s, you name it, they've got them, and they've got them working and playable. And I've got Eric here, and Eric knows all things vintage games. Tell me a little bit about some of the things that we're looking at here.
We've got a little bit of everything. Whatever your passion was, if you were young in the 70s and 80s, you had those computers with the things you couldn't buy. Now we can afford them because of that job. But we got machines from Japan over here. There's a Sony. We don't see many Sony. That's an MSX machine. Right? So we have a lot of rare things over here. People do repair because one of the things that happens is things break, and you can't fix them anymore because the parts aren't available. So we have a lot of electrical folks like that. We have people that get excited about a particular thing. This is Andrew's exhibit. It's all Pong. Right? He likes Pong. And so every sort of variation and thing of Pong that you could get through,
Oh, yeah. And then, so, like, over here, tell me, what were some of these over here?
Yeah. These are some original Apple IIs, but some also modified ones. We made a Barbie one a couple of years ago. You see the pink, it's obviously the pink Barbie. We have a clear machine over here, Apple II, that all the parts, they've remade some of the parts there.
Not so stealth.
Yeah, not so stealth.
Not so stealth, not so stealth.
That's the one we call our Darth Vader one, because Apple did make a black unit, and so we call that the Darth. There's people from museums, this guy took a disc you used to get in a box, you got a magazine with a disc in it, called Lodestar, and you get every month. And so he took all the ones from the archive, found out, made them rework, now in modern things, so you can still play the old games.
Oh, wow, wow.
We've got some people in the Asian Dreamlands, where you'd all battle it out, battle each other.
These are a little bit newer, I suppose.
A little bit newer. And then over here we have quite a bit of early 70s and early 80s things. Like Coleco Adam, which is a video game, and there's an old Zenith, so it's been early 70s and 80s. Osborne one that was, quote, the first luggable. It's not really wrapped. You kind of lug it.
These are real vintage here.
Yeah. So some pretty old
green
stuff.
screens here too. So
different machines.
Wow. Well, these are just some of the many things you can come see if you want to get your nostalgic bug here. And then you can also go through some of the other halls there. And we've got pinball machines, and we've got all kinds of other games that you can come play. This is open here at the Cobb Convention Center, and it starts today, going on now, and then goes on all throughout the weekend. So come on down to Southern Fried Gaming Expo.
Chris, looks like a lot of fun. I know service is rough there in the center. It can be hard to hear you at times, but we were able to see a little bit about what's going on. I know we'll see you again at 3. So Chris Rosenthal, thanks so much for the preview. I'm sure a lot of vintage video game, pinball machine, Pac-Man, maybe Munchman lovers might like to check this out. And it is happening through Sunday at the Renaissance Atlanta Waverly Hotel and Convention Center, as well as the Cobb Galleria Convention Center. So we will keep you guys updated as it progresses, and Chris is going to join us again here at 3 o'clock. Let's continue here, you guys, and get in a couple more headlines before I let you go at 3. I want to let you know that we've been so focused on the war with Iran. Some of you may be asking, what is the latest regarding Hamas? So President Trump is now saying that a potential peace deal may be on the horizon for Israel and Hamas. He said Thursday that talks led by the Board of Peace between mediators and Hamas have led to an agreement for Hamas to disarm in Gaza. Now, the president posted on Truth Social saying the agreement would produce a complete disarmament and would come in phases. A Hamas source says the agreement is a draft with heavy weapons kept under the control of a Palestinian administration. It would not be transferred to Israel. A Hamas negotiating team member also says Hamas would not disarm prior to Israel's withdrawal from the Strip, and the Israeli embassy in Washington has not commented on this so-called agreement. An Israeli official reportedly said progress was made in peace talks, but the terms of an agreement were not, quote, satisfactory. So while President Trump is saying that a peace deal has happened or that an agreement has been found, it kind of seems like both sides may not fully be there yet. So we will keep you updated as it does progress. Let's talk about this situation that's been unfolding in Spain. Really incredible. You may have seen some video on social media of this dire situation. About 60,000 migrants have entered the Spanish territory of Ceuta, located on the northern African coast, in the past 24 hours. At least 41 migrants have died at their attempt to cross. And we understand they've stormed this tiny Spanish territory named Ceuta, like I mentioned, on the northern African coast. And many have arrived by swimming around the coastal barriers after crossing the border from neighboring Morocco. Others have rushed onto the town's beaches and roads. Spain has deployed its military to the border, hoping to restore order, but the crossings have turned deadly. People have died by drowning or being trampled in stampedes, and some are searching for their relatives or are hoping for a better life. Once they cross the border, many are sleeping in parks or on sidewalks, and this has been causing some issues, as you might imagine. So many people coming to an area that isn't necessarily equipped for them. Ceuta has been a Spanish possession since 1580. It's a mixed population of Christians and Muslims, Spanish and Moroccan, and it's been an immigration hotspot that flares up from time to time. It's not immediately clear what has prompted this many migrants to come to this territory right now, but we do understand many desperate migrants from across Africa do try to come for a better life in Europe. As we continue here, more news is headed your way at 3 o'clock with Tom Haynes. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being live with me. We'll see you again here in just a bit.
Good Friday afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haynes. Made it to Friday. So happy you're with us as we knock on the door of the weekend. Want to get to some of our top stories this afternoon. One of them taking place in Southwest Atlanta, where a smoke shop owner is really upset and speaking out today after repeated break-ins are costing his business tens of thousands of dollars. We got surveillance video of this latest heist, and our Eric Perry is live at the shop with a look at the damage done, Eric, and how police are reportedly responding.
Yeah, Tom, hello to you. So we're in Southeast Atlanta. This is off of Boulevard, so it's a very busy type of street here. It's at the Wizo's shop here, smoke shop, and you can actually see the damage. This is where someone this week went through with the hammer and really smashed this out, but they weren't able to get inside because of this wood that was on the other side. That was from a break-in from before, so they weren't able to be successful. If we can zoom into this is who they believe was responsible for the last time. The manager, the owner here, says, "This is what I did Sunday night. I tried the door first with the hammer, but they were not successful." That's because this door is not bulletproof, but it is break-proof here, so they were not able to get into this just yet. Let's take you to some of the surveillance video. It shows the moments all of this happened. It was actually caught on the Ring camera that was there, and you can see outside when we come back, you'll see a little bit of how that Ring camera was smashed out, but still very crystal clear here. It's just really frustrating for this owner. He's been in this area for 15 years. This is his home. He's 70 years old. He wants to keep it going, but all of this is really adding up. Take a listen to a little bit of the conversation.
So I reset the alarm, I went back home to bed, and I was thinking, maybe this is not the last of it. And sure enough, it wasn't. About 1:30, I looked at my phone again, and there was another message, and it was definitely a break-in. He basically beat up my front door, which is unbreakable glass, so it pissed him off, I guess, and then he went to my big window and smashed the hell out of it, and then he realized, oh, there's something behind this big window. Well, it's wood behind the big window, so took this hammer to the wood and beat on it. It's very frustrating, you know, because we're having hard times right now. You know, I'm trying to keep my doors open, and every week when I go to the wholesaler, everything is going up constantly.
All right, so $30,000 in damages when it comes to the first break-in. That was with 4 different men there. That second break-in, the attempted one here, is going to cost him about $3,000. Back out here live, you're looking at the image that was able to be captured on surveillance video here, and then here is where that Ring camera was there, and you can see that the outer shell of it, or just that casing, has been broken, but ultimately the damage came here, which is where you can see a lot of this window, but thankfully he already had this glass this wood panel that was here from that first break-in. So he's just really frustrated. He's hoping someone will see this and will know who's responsible and will come forward, as all he's trying to do is just make a living for himself and for his family, Tom.
Yeah, you said it, Eric, but thank God that surveillance video gives us a really clear image of exactly who we're talking about here, who police are looking for this afternoon. Is this shop owner to the point where he's like, forget it, I'll go somewhere else, or is he going to double down and stay right where he is?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We asked him that. He said he's not going anywhere. He lives in this area. He's been here for 15 years, and really I don't think the economy is where it needs to be for him to just pack up shop and go somewhere else. So he wants to continue as long as he can here, but different businesses in this area, I believe, have been having issues. He says there's a CVS just right down the block here. He says someone broke in earlier this week through both of their doors to steal lotion out of it. So that cost them thousands of dollars just for a couple of dollars of lotion and, you know, moisturizing creams there. So a lot of businesses have been frustrated, but again, he don't think he's going to go anywhere. He's hoping to stick it out.
Well, that's what I was thinking about. It's like you see the veracity with which this
this young man is hammering, or at least trying to hammer, through the window there, and at a smoke shop. I mean, you'd think if you're going to put yourself in the line of fire where police are concerned and risk getting arrested, it would be for something much more valuable. And I'm like, wow, he really wants to get in and get some vapes or whatever it is they're selling inside that store. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, one would think it would be for something more, but it's really just frustrating overall, for sure.
You said it. Eric Perry reporting live, Southeast Atlanta this afternoon. Eric, thanks so much. Also in the news here at 3 o'clock, Atlanta police arresting a 21-year-old man after he allegedly stole a car with a 2-year-old child still inside. Now, officers were called to Spring Street in Midtown Thursday afternoon after a mother left her vehicle running with her toddler in the back. Members of the Auto Crimes Enforcement Unit quickly tracked the stolen car to a public shopping center on Howell Mill Road, just 3 miles away. Police arrested 21-year-old Salim Martin at the scene without incident. The 2-year-old girl was unharmed and was safely reunited with her family. Witnesses describe a heavy police presence in the area of the parking lot there, as officers canvassed for video and placed Martin in handcuffs. Martin now faces multiple felony charges, including kidnapping, entering a vehicle with intent to commit theft, and cruelty to children. He's scheduled to make his first court appearance in Fulton County. Police are once again reminding drivers never to leave your children in a car, especially during the hot summer. A multi-agency drug bust in Athens has put a major dent in local fentanyl operations there. The Northeast Georgia Regional Drug Task Force and Athens-Clarke County Police executed 3 search warrants Wednesday following a targeted investigation. Officers seized $74,000 in cash, a trafficking quantity of fentanyl, 4 firearms, and 4 vehicles tied to the operation. Police arrested 56-year-old Darren Turner of Athens. He now faces multiple charges, including fentanyl trafficking and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Authorities asking anybody with additional information to call the Athens-Clarke County Police drug trafficking tip line. Well, 2 men are behind bars following a drive-by shooting in Hall County, a convenience store there, after they were refused alcohol. Take a look at these 2 men. Hall County deputies say 17-year-old Travis White, 23-year-old Cooper Robinson got into an argument with a clerk at that stop on Dahlonega Highway earlier Wednesday morning. Investigators say that after leaving and arguing with customers in the parking lot, the suspects returned in a red SUV and White opened fire toward the store. Luckily, nobody was injured, but officers found bullet holes in that building. Lumpkin County deputies later spotted the vehicle and detained both men. White now facing 3 counts of aggravated assault along with weapons charges, while Robinson is charged as a party to the crime. Both are being held in the Hall County Jail without bond this afternoon. Also in the news here at 3 o'clock this afternoon on Fox Local, Spalding County officials are outraged after learning that a former county commissioner convicted of shooting at deputies could soon be placed on parole. Our Doug Evans is live with why the sheriff says nobody was notified and is trying to put the word out to prevent this from happening. Doug?
Hey, Tom. Yeah, you know, this was a story that we covered extensively back in 2020. It was February of that year. County Commissioner Don Hawbaker at the time was barricaded inside his home. Deputies tried to talk him out. They were trying to serve a warrant, an arrest warrant, accusing him of pointing a gun at his wife. Hawbaker barricaded himself in the house, fired shots at deputies. Eventually, they drove this personnel carrier, this armored car, through his front door and arrested him. He was convicted the next year in 2021, multiple counts of aggravated assault on a peace officer for firing the shots at the deputies. Nobody was hurt in the exchange of gunfire, and they shot back at him. So here we are 6 years later, Tom, and the sheriff of Spalding County, Daryl Dix, is outraged that this guy is being considered for parole, or in some cases in the press release provided to us by the sheriff's office says he's being paroled. So that's something that we're trying to straighten out, that little bit of a discrepancy Is he being considered, or has he been paroled? Anyway, 6 years later, the sheriff says, hey, he was supposed to serve 10 years. What's up with that? And he's being paroled after 6. Let me quote from a press release here, and it's kind of a lengthy quote, so kind of hang with me here. I did send some text messages to the sheriff today. He said he referred me to this message that they posted on their Facebook page. Says he wasn't available for an interview. So here it goes. A little lengthy. Sorry about that. Here's what the sheriff says. I was forwarded an email that contained copies of documents noting where inmate Donald Francis Hawbaker would be granted parole effective August 6, 2026. Later found out that none of the deputies he shot at had been notified. As sheriff of Spalding County, I had not been notified. The Griffin Judicial Circuit District Attorney had not been notified. More importantly, Gail Brittingham Hawbaker had not been notified. That was the wife he was accused of pointing the gun at. None of us knew anything about a parole hearing or knew that inmate Hawbaker's parole was even being considered, so we could object in writing or appear in front of the parole board in person to object. So the sheriff here, very outraged at this. This was big news at the time. He was outraged that a county commissioner, who's also a lawyer, by the way, at the time, would fire at his deputies when they were just trying to serve an arrest warrant. So a lot of outrage in the community here as well 6 years ago. So here they are, and he has printed a lengthy press release and has posted it on the Spalding County Sheriff's Facebook page, in which he says he just wants the citizens to know that this is happening, that this guy is getting out after 6 years. He notes in his press release also, Tom, that some of the consideration that went into either granting him parole or either in considering him for parole, and again, we're trying to straighten that out, was good behavior in prison. To which Sheriff Dix writes, where was his good behavior 6 years ago?
Yeah.
I'm curious to do here, Tom.
Yeah, a lot sort of to sort through here. But might this sheriff, and you can understand why he's so upset when somebody targets his own, but might these efforts on his part make any difference in terms of whether he's granted parole or not, in terms of like getting the parole board's attention or ginning up some public outcry as to the possibility of this person's parole?
Well, I think two things. One is that we don't know the status of the parole, right? Is he being considered, or has that decision already been made? If it hasn't been already made, then I think a sitting sheriff deals a great bit of weight in persuading a parole board on issues of parole, especially somebody that is in his community. That's the first point. The second point is, don't underestimate the power of a sitting sheriff in Georgia. Yeah. They wield a tremendous amount of power, not just in their own jurisdiction, but across the state as well, and especially within state agencies like the Board of Pardons and Parole. So two things to consider there. Will it have an effect? I don't know. We'll just have to see about that. And by the way, Tom, I have reached out to the Board of Pardons and Parole, waiting for some clarification from them on this, but we haven't heard back just yet.
All right. Great reporting. And again, as you say, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Doug Evans live for us with this parole situation. Doug, thanks so much. I want to talk about an issue about data centers, and a lot of you write to us about it, objecting to their footprint in your local communities. Well, Paulding County commissioners have now voted unanimously to put a temporary moratorium on new data centers. The ban suspends all new applications and zoning requests until January the 1st of next year. Officials plan to use the time to overhaul land use codes and study the environmental impact and power impact of the massive facilities.
It needs to be in a responsible place that has the infrastructure set up, that's commercial, that's industrial, that's an area where it's already set up, instead of placing this in rural Paulding County.
The decision follows months of angry resident protest over zoning loopholes that allowed developers to bypass public notices. However, the moratorium does not apply to data center applications already filed before Tuesday's vote. Well, we got some good news for some Atlanta residents who are going to go from dirt roads to paved roads. City officials breaking ground today on a major infrastructure project to pave dirt roads across Atlanta. Let's get out to our Angelique Proctor. Angelique, you know, you and I have been here for the Olympics. Now we've been here for World Cup. We know the city spruces itself up for big world events like that. And then we think it's over. That the infrastructure improvements won't come until the next big event in our city, but that's not the case here.
Absolutely, Tom. I think we will call this, and good afternoon to you, some of Atlanta's dirty little secrets. We are an international city, a city on the rise with so much happening with FIFA World Cup and all of the major conventions that come to our city. But one city councilman says we have some unfinished business, some streets that are not paved, and I am talking dirt roads in the city of Atlanta. It's really hard for some people to believe. We are in Southeast Atlanta on Springside Drive, and we're at Macon Drive. Both are unpaved and are hazardous for anybody's car. Now, District 12 City Councilman Antonio Lewis says the time has come to pave these roads, and he says that these are roads that he's been traveling his entire life. He talked to us about his grandmother driving him down many of these streets years ago, because this particular street is a cut through to Southwest Atlanta. But he says it's time, since everyone is a taxpayer, that we give equal respect to all residents and get these roads paved. Now, I've done stories about this before, but now he has what is a resolution. So the project has not been approved, but we have passed a resolution, or that resolution will actually go for a vote on Monday, that will finally start identifying these roads. He tells me the mayor is supporting this resolution, and several councilmen have joined in, and they say they're going to put these dirt roads, finally will get some asphalt and be filled. Take a listen.
I grew up on this rocky road. If you lived in, there's some apartments on the other side of them. It used to be called Colony Square. And so if I ever wanted to go play with my friends at Colony Square, I always walked up this rocky road, right? To get to school, to get to my elementary school, I ever missed a school bus, I took Springside Drive, right? Because there's no sidewalk on Cleveland Avenue. There still isn't. We're working on it right now, but there's no sidewalk on Cleveland Avenue for me to walk up, so it's safer for me to walk up Springside Drive.
To be honest with you, though, it's kind of shocking to see such a rural road in this thriving metropolis city of Atlanta.
I always tell people, if you want to see the real Georgia, come to Cleveland Avenue, come to Zone 3. It's everything, right? It's everything. We have from the new apartments, new townhouses to the rural houses, but also we have dirt roads, right? You'll feel like you're in Savannah, you can feel like you're in Macon. The real Atlanta is the real South. And so this is the South to me, but we gotta fix it. We gotta fix it to have a city, a rich city like this. This is a very rich city, right? To have a rich city like this and to see this here is an issue. And the issue is that folks in my community don't even know they can fix this. So when I ride around Buckhead, when I ride around different parts of the city,
Lewis says that his resolution will identify several dirt roads in the city, including one out here in his district called Rough and Ready Drive, which we thought was a very interesting title. Last year, I did some stories in Southwest Atlanta, District 11, Ewing and Roswell Streets. They too dirt roads where the city just puts gravel over them, and residents deal with a lot of car repairs. We were told that Amazon drivers end up in potholes, that the U.S. Mail even has problems out there. So I talked to District 11 Councilman Wayne Martin. He says he supports this resolution, and he is planning to get some streets paved in his district as well. actual vote on the resolution will take place on Monday. And I think it's safe to explain that this is a resolution, so there's not any money tied to it, but apparently there is a lot of support. So what they are doing is working with the city's transportation department, Solomon Cavanis, and what they will do is first identify all of the streets that need to be paved and then find out, well, do they need watershed infrastructure? Do they need drainage? Do they have other issues besides just the asphalt? And then the third aspect of all of this is to find the money to actually pave these streets. But I've talked to both of these councilmen today, and they tell me this money will come, and there are a lot of weary residents. I talked to several of them today who will be glad to see this finally put to bed here, and that we actually get some paved roads in many of these areas, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, in some rural communities in the United States, the unpaved roads, in other words, gravel roads, are part of the charm of the community. But obviously these neighborhoods feed into major metropolitan areas, and you through your video could see the disrepair of some of those roads with heavy rainfall, and the roads I was referring to get re-graveled and ground down, and they're maintained. But these roads didn't necessarily look like that was the case. And another point, Angelique, is that it's good. This isn't necessarily a heavily populated area, but it's good to see council responding to those folks on the periphery of town who need these kind of infrastructure repairs.
Absolutely. They are very, very frustrated out here. They say that they are owed this because they pay taxes just like everyone else. And they have been dealing with auto repairs and many problems. We're looking them not getting packages. It's just a whole nother world that they are experiencing. And to see this apparently finally come to fruition where these streets will be paved, it's just great news for these people.
Indeed it is. Angelique Proctor live for us this afternoon. Angelique, thanks so much. As we continue, it's another hot one out there. We got a little tease when we woke up this morning because there was a little bit of a crispness in the air in the form of no humidity out there necessarily. It felt good if you were able to go out and have a cup of coffee, take a morning walk. You know what I'm talking about. Meteorologist Alex Forbes is going to be along here after the break to tell us if the nice morning weather is going to stretch into the weekend as we continue. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. Hope you're enjoying your Friday afternoon. And there's a lot of reason to enjoy it, Alex. I mean, we got a little tease this morning in the form of some really dry air. There was a tiny little bit of crispness in the air, enough for me to go out and have a cup of coffee on my outdoor patio furniture.
So if I know Tom well enough, did you put any pumpkin anything in your coffee?
No. I wasn't into the pumpkin latte quite yet, but I did feel some fall vibes out there.
The thought crossed your mind.
It did, indeed.
So don't get used to it, right? I would say this is a tease of a tease. It's not even the full thing because, you know, the weekend we are going to be back to regular summertime humidity levels, and that's going to come with showers and storms as well. Now, we've been talking about, or I've heard other people say, oh, the humidity is going to be really low today, and it is lower. Don't get me wrong, but it's still kind of sticky outside, right? It's still almost 90 degrees, 89 here in the city, 88 in Canton, 90 over in Covington, 93 in Eatonton, and 95 in Milledgeville at this hour. I've got the radar turned on. Notice there is nothing in our neck of the woods. So let's take that off and look at the temperature map, right? Those numbers aren't going to change, but the colors will. Got a lot of oranges and reds. Now, here's the big change, is the dew point, right? So 68 in Covington, that's still a little sticky. 70 in LaGrange, that is sticky, but that 61 in Noonan, that's not too bad. Griffin is not too bad. So it's the tales of haves and have-nots here in the metro area. So you add it all together. Heat index values right now, not bad at all in metro Atlanta and North Georgia. Here's your forecast into the evening. If you're going to be out at the Braves game, got the Nationals in town. It is Olympic night, honoring the 30-year anniversary of the 1996 Olympics here in Atlanta. It's going to be perfect weather. Don't forget the sunglasses because there will be plenty of that. Now, into the evening, cloud cover will begin to thicken. Humidity will begin to build back in spots where it's not right now, and that will hold temperatures in the 70s as opposed to the 60s like we saw this morning. Then for tomorrow afternoon, right, not terribly hot, 84, 85, 82, but that's because there's going to be showers and storms. So hour by hour here, watch this Saturday morning, look over into Alabama. Already seeing some storms fire up, and by 10, 11 o'clock, they're going to be moving into the metro area. Now, tomorrow's rain chance is at 70%. That does not mean it is going to rain all day, but I do expect waves of showers and storms. Notice they're broken in nature, and I think the bigger thing for Saturday is that it's not going to be a one and done. It might storm at your house at noon, and then it might storm at your house again at 4. Then for other people, let's say that's Fayette County, for example. This is a pure hypothetical. I'm just using 2 different locations. Let's talk about Hall County, right? It might storm there at 2 and that be it. That's going to be the general pattern across North Georgia. Nonetheless, some showers and storms still lasting into the evening hours. I would not go as far to say that the Braves game will be perfectly dry tomorrow. Odds are decent that they'll be able to get it in, but not 100%, and then we'll be left with scattered showers there for Sunday. So, severe weather outlook. I mentioned earlier that we were going to get an update on this, and we did, and the lines did not adjust all that much. I would throw this caveat in there. If I personally were drawing this outlook, I would not cut off that level 1 in Northwest Georgia. I would pull it into the metro. So when we're talking Monday and everybody's saying, oh, we had severe weather this weekend, just remember that. What they did do, though, is put us in the level 1 for Sunday in the metro. So for all intents and purposes, everybody has at least a level 1 severe weather threat this weekend. I think it's more of a Saturday thing. They think it's a little more split Saturday, Sunday. Nonetheless, today's the last day of July. That's what you have to look forward to through August. The big change going to be the amount of daylight. From tomorrow to August 31st, we are going to lose about an hour's worth of daylight here in Atlanta. There's your updated Fox 5 Storm Team 7-day forecast. Back to school week next week. Looks like summertime, if you ask me.
It looks like a wet weekend, too, Alex.
But not a washout, right? Like, it's not going to rain all day
Just
Saturday.
Summertime storms, right?
Well, summertime storms with some help. And then they won't have some help next week.
But I like not seeing 90s.
Look, if we were going to be doing it, this would be the time of year that we were doing it, right? Like, my growing up here, my mind always goes back to 2012.
Yeah.
It was when it was 106, like every day. That was July when that happened. So this would be the time of the year we would be in the hundreds if we were going to do it. And look, 84.
We'll take it.
2 thumbs up.
I want to take you to some live pictures right now, right outside Camp David, where Marine One is about to lift off. You see the Marines there, Navy, kind of holding onto their hats, so to speak, as the helicopter containing the President of the United States gets set to lift off. The President doesn't go to Camp David very often. but he did today. The president holding a big cabinet meeting there. All the cabinet secretaries were on hand to discuss a variety of issues. This was also one of the first, if not the first time, that a cabinet meeting was televised live from Camp David and televised for everybody to sort of listen into, as has been done from the White House, but this time it happened from Camp David. And so I want to stick on these live pictures for just a second as Marine One heads back to the White House on a hot summery afternoon in Washington, D.C. The 13th cabinet meeting, we understand, that Trump has held since beginning his second term. During the previous term, he held a cabinet meeting retreat at Camp David as well. That one wasn't televised. At this one, the president discussed recent cyber attacks. There was a big one in Minnesota that we were going to touch on a little bit later here on in the stream. J.D. Vance also in attendance, as well as the Secretary of State, talking about the administration's efforts to crack down on fraud in America. Let's listen to part of that cabinet meeting as we had just watched Marine One taken off with the president headed back to the White House.
Today, I just want to mention that we heard in Minnesota there was a cyber attack, and they blame it on Iran. I don't think so. I blame it on Minnesota because they're grossly incompetent. There was a cyber attack of 30 water plants, and I would blame it on Minnesota and the governor, the corrupt governor of Minnesota. They like to say, oh, it was Iran. Iran should be so lucky. Iran's got bigger problems than worrying about Minnesota.
First is that just since the beginning of the fraud task force that I started under the president's leadership and direction, we have identified $230 billion of fraud that's being perpetrated against the American people, and we have halted already $56 billion of that. It's sometimes hard. Once the money has already gone out the door, it's hard to get it back. But stopping it from going out the door is how we save the American people. $56 billion, and of course we're going to keep on working on that.
So that's the president, the vice president there. You see Secretary Bessent, Marco Rubio to the left of the president, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to the right. From the camera perspective anyway. Again, this happening at Camp David this afternoon, where the president assembled his cabinet members and held this live televised briefing this afternoon. Meanwhile, up on Capitol Hill, there's some drama taking place. The president may try to keep his Attorney General Todd Blanche on the job without getting Senate confirmation. The two Republicans currently blocking Blanche's nomination, however, say they're not the only ones with some major concerns. As the president's pick for Attorney General stalls in the Senate, he now says he may have to pull Todd Blanche's nomination entirely after the midterms. The president, they're posting on Truth Social about it. Both John Cornyn, Tom Tillis, the two GOP senators standing in the way, and a no vote from either one takes Blanche's nomination off the table. The reason behind the protest goes back to the Justice Department's controversial settlement agreement between President Trump and the IRS that also shields the president from all future audits. When we come back here on what has been a busy Friday afternoon of news here during the 3 p.m. streaming hour, we're going to head up to a local university partnering with a flight academy to launch a new associate degree in aviation. How about that? There's a lot of people interested in aviation and taking it all the way through college in advance of maybe working for an airline or doing something in the aviation field. Well, how about a bachelor's degree in that subject? We're going to talk about it when we come back. Welcome back to the Friday edition of the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haynes, your host, here live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Appreciate you streaming with us. If you're on your mobile device on our free app, Fox Local, certainly glad you're here this afternoon. At home on one of your live channels, glad you're watching us today, or on one of our social media sites at Fox 5 Atlanta. We're live there too. Or if you're driving around town on the radio, 107.9 HD2 FM, certainly glad you're with us this afternoon. We got a great innovative associate's degree program to tell you about in aviation. Something that's not that common out there. Our Maria Guzman is live in Lawrenceville at Beulah Heights University, all buckled in, ready to take flight, it looks like, Maria.
Hey, Tom. Yeah, so this is a partnership between Beulah Heights University and Look Up Flight Academy here in Lawrenceville. So I am live from the academy. Viper, and this is just one of the several Vipers that they have here, but this is the captain sits, so the student's going to be able to sit here. But before they get to the captaincy, they're going to be going just through a lot of educations and studies, and it's all going to start in campus at the university. So I got a chance to speak with Dr. Alicia Plan to talk to us more about this program and how they're going to help equip the next generation of aviation workers.
They're going to be enrolled in classes starting on campus at BHU in Atlanta. We're at 892 Burn Street and down in the Grant Park community. So they'll take classes there. It's flexible, though, because they can take those classes hybrid, or they can take them 100% online. And so they'll enroll in those classes, and some of them are aviation core classes. So they'll, from day one, they will have exposure to aviation curriculum. And then they'll take other core classes, or as well as gen ed classes, such as math, such as science, such as interpersonal communications. And then in the summer of that first academic year, they'll be here at Look Up, where they'll begin training hands-on with the planes. Yeah. Funding broadens when you're looking at the higher education space. We're talking about federal dollars. We're talking about grants, other ways that we can help students reach their funding goals to ensure that they have access to a career in aviation. Outside of that, if they do it alone, they're more limited in what access they have to funding. So in the higher education space, we do have more reach in that area. And we, from day one, are ensuring that we are maxing out those opportunities for students from grants, scholarships, federal dollars, whatever we can. We walk right alongside them from day one to ensure funding. We are hoping that we address this. Boeing put out this information or this research that shows that over the next 20 years, they're going to need about 660,000 pilots ready to take on the aviator role. So we're hoping that this partnership kind of opens up an opportunity for more students to enroll into the program and to fill those gaps. We think that we have a great match. We have a great match with the academic curriculum and then with the flight training that's paired perfectly into a 2-year program that students, when they're out of this program, are ready. They're trained and ready to go to move toward their magic number of flight hours needed to really, really move into the other careers. But their careers are wide-ranging. And so we're also looking at this from a workforce development point of view, where we are going to be advising students from day one about what careers will look like for them.
Goals behind this program and partnership is to equip the students and also just make it more accessible for them to enter the aviation work field and address that shortage that people are seeing. So they're expecting about 20 students to be in the first cohort, and that's going to start in just about 2 weeks. So very, very soon, Tom.
I love it because flight training is so expensive. Like, I wanted to go get my pilot's license and realized that it's going to cost me over $10,000 or some ridiculous amount of money. Well, perhaps not ridiculous. I mean, it's expensive to learn how to fly. You got to get one-on-one training. You got to use gas. You got to do all kinds of stuff. But it's an expensive endeavor, is what I'm trying to say. Now for the unfair question to you, Maria. Can anyone enroll in this associate's degree program? Like an old guy like me, can I go up to Beulah Heights University and say I want to get my associate's degree, even though I've already graduated college and I'm through the? Might it be a more affordable way to do something like that?
Hey, Tom, you're never too old to learn. So as long as you are enrolled and you're accepted, I believe that is the first step. I mean, it is a university, so that is one way. And, it also caught my interest as well, because who wants to say, how cool that you're able to say, I have a license, or how to be able to fly one of these cool planes.
I'm dying for one. And what a great idea and a great program to precipitate that idea and actually achieve a lifelong dream at perhaps more affordable of a price. I'm assuming that Beulah University offers information on their website as to this associate's degree program.
Correct, yeah. So if you have any question, go over to their website, and that's where you can learn more. And obviously it is through a university, so you might be able to receive some Pell Grants, FAFSA to help, but their website will be the best way to go and learn more about it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to log on and check it out. Maria Guzman live in Dahlonega for us this afternoon. Maria, thanks so much. Let's talk about the Falcons. Boy, football season almost here. They're already in training camp. We spoke to the wide receiver, Zachariah Branch, getting ready for the upcoming season. Sat down with us one-on-one, or I should say two-on-one, with our Buck Lamford, DJ Shockley, to talk about the upcoming season, getting into the league, and what fans can expect.
We're out here with Falcons rookie receiver Zachariah Branch. You were just talking about the weather today, man. It's almost like stealing to have a forecast like this in July, and it's not going to last, right?
Definitely. No, it's a great weather today. Definitely know it's not going to last, so, going to buckle up and get ready for that.
Yeah. ZB, first off, man, what's it been like to have this experience? You get drafted, you come to the Falcons, but what's been kind of the overarching feeling you've had since you got here?
It's been great. I feel nothing but love since I got here from everybody from top to bottom. From the cafeterias, people, nutrition, strength and conditioning, the coaching staff, the players, everybody just pretty welcoming, and just everybody has an end goal. And, I feel like we all have the same mindset, which makes us, gel overall. So it's been pretty good just getting a chance to learn from the vets, the coaches put us in great positions. So I've been loving everything so far.
The skill set that you bring would be a lot of fun, I think, for a coach or an OC to kind of work with. What kind of goals do you have for yourself as a rookie, different ways that you can be worked into this offense?
I really just want to be a playmaker overall. It doesn't really matter what level I'm getting the ball. Maybe it's special teams, maybe it's offense. I just want to take advantage of my opportunities to be able to help my team be in the best position possible in the end.
Z, what's changed when you think about going from high school, there's a different level, to college a different level now to the NFL? Where have you seen the biggest difference from where you was at last year playing in the SEC to where you are now in the National Football League?
It definitely is. I feel like Georgia did a great job preparing me, for these opportunities. But I feel like the biggest thing for me was getting my head around. That ball was getting there pretty quick. So that was the biggest thing for me. And then just, making sure I was staying consistent with, taking notes and just doing my walkthroughs in my house, in my room. Because we're actually doing a new thing that I guess the vets were saying, like, it's non-traditional that, we will not have meetings before practice. So we'll have meetings at night and then go straight to practice with no meetings just to see how much we retain. So just being prepared and just being able to do the walkthroughs and make sure I'm retaining the information, because at the next level I feel like there's a lot more mental reps than physical. So just capitalizing on those and being ready for that opportunity when it does come.
From your perspective, what's it like, this quarterback situation that the Falcons are in right now? You got two left-handed quarterbacks, both banged up, not participating fully right now, a couple of right-handed young guys. Does it matter to you who you're working with the quarterback at this point in the season? Does that affect you at all?
No, it doesn't affect me. My main mindset is really just to control what I can, and just control the opportunities that I get. I try to take advantage of it, make sure my assignment is pretty sound, and I'm in the right spot for whatever quarterback's in the game, so everybody is comfortable. So I'm just trying to take advantage of that and just have fun with it.
You've had a chance to go through OTAs, mini camps with Mike and also with Tua. What do you like about both those guys, and what do they bring to the table that, maybe the common fan may not know, but you get a chance to catch with them and be in meetings with them, hear them talk in the huddle, all that kind of stuff. When you think about it, what are the differences and what do you like about them?
Yeah, they're both very intellectual and they're very intentional, by the way that they approach things. I feel like that all the details, and they're very detail-oriented on, to certain things, having another protection and having to shift somebody from here over to there. Everybody's always on it. Both of those guys are super on it, and their accuracy is very, very precise as well. Sometimes you may have to change your angle on a certain route, but, essentially you're trying to get back to that landmark, but they're always going to find a way to put the ball in the right spot to give you a chance to go make the play. So, I've been having a good time just getting a chance to learn them, on the field and then off the field as well. Just, talking to Mike and Tua and just figuring out different things that they like. Me and Tua was talking about chess the other day. I got to get back on my game. He was telling me he can get people in 3 moves, so I got to get back on it. But they're great people.
How much different was it today? So you had a couple of days without fans here. Now you ratcheted it up. You have the season ticket holder, so you're performing in front of someone. And then tomorrow it's kind of wide open, so it's going to be likely a lot of people out here tomorrow. How different is that for you?
I feel like I'm definitely used to, large crowds and things like that, especially from high school at a young age, being at Bishop Gorman. We playing top teams in the country every single week. So I don't think the crowd really phases me, in a sense, but it's definitely fun just to feel the atmosphere from the fans and just, and that they're showing love out there and supporting us. So it definitely makes us want to go harder for them and put on a show for them.
I've seen you make a bunch of plays already from OTA to minicamp, even the first 3 days here in camp. And we was talking to Drake about it. He said, I remember him came into USC. He was that dude, and we still got him on our wing now. Mike said that dude is really good at football. But from your perspective, what does it felt like to come into the National Football League and already say, you know what, I can play at this level. I can make these kind of plays and to go out and put it on tape?
It's really just a blessing. God blessed me with the ability. So my main goal is just to, try to enhance those as much as I can, because I would be doing him a disservice for the ability that he's given me. So just trying to take every single nugget from all the guys like Drake, Jahan, OZ, all the veteran guys, who have been helping me out this whole time. And then I'm just trying to learn as much as I can to help the team be as best as possible. But, I'm definitely excited about how everything's going.
I'm going to ask you this question before Shock does. All right, how about Georgia? Let me tell me what Georgia looks like this year. What are you expecting from those Bulldogs?
Hey, they dogs. I don't expect anything less. SEC championship, we need it again. You know what I'm saying? 3-peat, let's do it. And then, the ultimate goal last year, we kind of came up short. Obviously wanted to get to that national championship. So, I want to see those guys go ahead and do it.
Z, last thing I got for you, man. What are the expectations you have for yourself heading into this season? Obviously, still a rookie, still trying to figure out your bearings, how things go. But when you look at what's ahead, what are you most excited about as you get ready for, hey, you got a preseason game coming up here in a couple of weeks. You're going to be playing big-time football.
Definitely. I don't really have too many expectations going into it. Really just, like I said, controlling what I can. I don't know how many opportunities I'm going to get, but, when I do get them, I'm going to try to make sure I'm ready for those opportunities to, help my team be as best as possible. But it's pretty crazy. Time's flying. Like, we're about to have a preseason game coming up soon, and it's always been a dream of mine to, play at the next level. So just trying to just make sure I can, have that longevity and control what I can.
And I ain't going to give away what we've seen in practice, but I've seen a couple of wrinkles that they got from my man, from my dog ZB, to get him to rock, so that's going to be fun to see too.
Yes, sir, and I'm definitely waiting for sure.
I know that fans are excited to see what you're going to bring to the table. People that followed you at USC, people that followed you at Georgia, and now here Falcons fans. So I know they're excited to see what you're going to bring to the table this year. We appreciate your time today.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
So much to be excited about. Guys, awesome interview. Thanks so much. Want to talk about something before we head to break here. 18 neglected dogs are receiving care in Metro Atlanta after being rescued from unsafe conditions in Middle Georgia. Animal control officers and the Atlanta Humane Society responding to a rural property in Twiggs County where an elderly owner was overwhelmed and unable to care for dozens of animals following his wife's recent passing. Kind of a sad story. Rescuers brought 18 dogs, including Chihuahuas, Pit Bulls, various mixes, back to the Crisis Response Center in Marietta for medical evaluation. Officials say while some of the animals underwent some major suffering, they were loaded with fleas and skin conditions. None appear to have major medical issues. The owner is not facing any criminal charges this afternoon. When we come back, so much more to get to this afternoon. Going to check in with our Chris Rosenthal live, the Southern Fried Gaming Expo in town. Chris is there. We're going to talk to him when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Right up my alley here. It's called the Southern Fried Gaming Expo, taking over the Cobb Galleria this afternoon, full of arcade games, retro consoles, tabletop games, and tournaments. Let's get out to our Chris Rosenthal live in Cobb County with all the action. I believe, I'm not saying you're as old as I am, maybe you are. We're kind of the same generation. So I'm thinking like, you know, Donkey Kong, Asteroids. Please tell me those games are there.
Oh, they have it all. They have games going back to the 70s and 80s. They've got, they've got Texas Instrument games. They've got all kinds of those games. They got Pac-Man. You name it, they've got them all here. They've got hundreds and hundreds of games here, and they have pinball machines. That's a really, really big thing there. There's a Kiss pinball machine over there, actually. We've got tons of it. Star Wars here. Atari. We've got Sniper. This is Preston here. He's playing. Preston's actually the co-founder of the Southern Fried Gaming Expo that I met. He's playing Sniper here, and this is. Tell me about this one. This one's unique, huh?
Well, this is an old electromechanical machine from Williams Electronics in 1971, and I am not doing good on this target practice, but these are really unique games that you can see that are mechanical in nature, and we got everything from the old stuff all the way up to the newest, latest, greatest.
A little bit of everything. We can go for a little walk and get a little bit of tour. I mean, tell me about this. This is the 13th year you've been doing this. I mean, how did this get started here?
Oh, this is so much fun. We started years ago as a arcade and pinball collectors convention. And we brought these games out of our basement for other collectors to enjoy, and then the public decided they liked it too. And then we just expanded all different types of gaming, everything from tabletop and Dungeons and Dragons role-playing to esports and everything under the sun.
I mean, the enthusiasm, tell me about the enthusiasm you have here for this.
Well, you know, the video game industry is so big. Like, everybody has a PlayStation or Xbox now, but people remember back in the 80s and the 70s, and now they're showing their kids. So it's become a really big family affair of like trying to relive your past, but also enjoy the present.
Yeah, we got more. We got some, of course, Super Mario. That's nostalgic for sure. What do we have over here? You have several rooms here.
That's right. So in this room we have esports. We have tons of vendors. We've got retro consoles, everything from the Magnavox Odyssey, the Atari 2600, all the way up to the newest PlayStations and Xboxes. We've got people here competing in major tournaments for major prizes for all kinds of things like Call of Duty and Fortnite, Rocket League, things that kids of today really, really love. But right behind it, you got old games called Satan's Hollow from 1982 and Donkey Kong from 1981. So it's a really good juxtaposition of the old and the new.
There you go, Tom. There's your Donkey Kong right there. So you were talking, oh, look, and it's for sale too. How about that? And tell me, people want to come here. What do they need to do? What do they need to know?
Oh, they just need to come to the Cobb Convention Center or the Renaissance Waverly Hotel and register for a membership for the weekend. You can get single-day passes for $45 on Friday, $55 Saturday, $30 on Sunday. It's cheaper for kids, and it's even cheaper for a weekend pass.
There you go. There you go. So you can just come on out the Cobb Convention Center. Plenty of parking out here, and all weekend long.
To ride my bike to the arcade as a kid, so all this is coming back. There's Donkey Kong. Chris Rosenthal and friends out there. Chris, thanks. Thank you for joining us for the 3 p.m. streaming hour. Don't go anywhere. The news continues right here, right now.